Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular Board of Education meeting of January 21st, 2025. Please stand. We're going to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note that this evening we have Trustee Wanda White and Trustee Warren Mitchell joining us via video conference. Trustee McDonough. Present. Trustee Maribel.
Present.
Trustee Mitchell. He's on. Oh. Okay. Trustee Middleton.
Present. I'm present.
Got it. Trustee Njenga. Trustee White.
Present.
Trustee Kerwin.
Here.
VP Kelly.
Here.
And President Saunders. Okay, we have our quorum. There is no legal requirement to recognize public comment at the meetings of the Board of Education. However, the board recognizes the critical importance of community discourse and involvement in the education of Mount Vernon's children, and accordingly, members of the public are invited to speak at each regularly scheduled board meeting, subject to the terms of the board policy. Please state your name and the organization, if any, you represent. A speaker must register in advance by no later than 4 p.m. the day of the meeting by contacting the district clerk in person at 165 North Columbus Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, by phone at 914-665-5235, or by email. The board welcomes all respectful comments, whether praise or criticism. However, identifying and criticizing a specific student, parent, teacher, administrator, other Mount Vernon education official, or employee is strictly prohibited. Any such complaint must be presented and addressed through the proper administrative channels. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Up to 1 additional minute may be used for the speaker to summarize and conclude their remarks. If appropriate, board trustees and/or the superintendent or other staff members at the direction of the superintendent may immediately respond to a speaker's remarks. Our first speaker tonight is Janine Fertil.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Good evening. My name is Janine Fertil. I'm the parent of 3 children in the Mount Vernon City School District. I understand that closing the schools in Mount Vernon City School District was a difficult but necessary decision. However, I feel the district missed an opportunity to genuinely collaborate with the community. This could have been a time to modernize our schools and create a vision for a stronger and more vibrant Mount Vernon City School District. Something that people would have, I'm sorry?
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, something that would have rallied the community support. Unfortunately, instead, it was as though the school district disconnected from its residents. Several people had told me that the district had already made their decision and simply moved forward without real engagement. I personally accepted an invitation to join committees, yet never received any invitations to attend a committee meeting. As a parent of 3 children and as a person who has navigated this district for 13 years, I truly believe that my input would have been valued, but it wasn't. I was initially saddened because I missed out on most private schools' open house. I felt disappointed and the thought of returning back to work, missing out on being there for my kids, dropping them off, picking them up, volunteering, and being present for them. My friend recently invited me to a school meeting. I was shocked to see so many parents considering leaving the Mount Vernon City School District. It's heartbreaking to see families willing to commute for a peace of mind that they feel the district can't provide. I hope Mount Vernon will take a step back and listen and reevaluate how it engages and treats its community. Thank you.
Jonathan Booker.
Good evening, everybody. Just waiting for the timer. All right. Good evening, trustee members and acting superintendent. My name is Jonathan Booker. I have 2 children in Mount Vernon City School District, and I would like to start with a quote. "We who engage in nonviolent direct action are not the creators of tension. We merely bring to the surface the hidden tension that is already alive. We bring it out in the open, where it is can be seen and dealt with." Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. With that being said, to watch the NAACP Mount Vernon chapter meeting and witness our board president ask members of this community to not request to speak on public forum and call out atrocities that this school district has been guilty of and instead retreat to emails goes completely against the claim of transparency this board claims to encourage. I would like to note some of the things that weigh heavy on me in this community. There has been a stigma placed on the current members of the community who are not homeowners and or not a product of the Mount Vernon School District. Let's be clear that having a child in the district, living in the city, paying rent in this city makes you a part of the community, just as much as being a homeowner. We have investment in this community. To shun a fellow community member because you feel there is a certain criteria to be counted is further building the divide that so many of you claim you are tired of. Another way on me is how quickly we run off those questions, how quickly we run off who question the order of things in this city. For years, I have witnessed many people at school board meetings and otherwise question how this city is being run. When we finally had a board trustee who took her time and gave a breakdown of how taxes have been collected, how the closed contracts of new developments in this city were created, and did not allow for proper counts to be made regarding taxes prior to our current mayor, might I add, we allowed this trustee to be chased off by a corrupt few who couldn't sway her to support the poor decisions we are forced to face now. Listening to our trustees make it clear that we were presented with the options of closures only being the 3 schools picked by the 5 who I'm sure made it sure that they had enough to push it through before presenting it to the rest of the board. Watching our board take a vote, knowing everyone was not comfortable in formative situation to feel confident in a vote is so reflective of the kind of politics that have become so common with our trustees. We are so quick to continue to vote for the same trustees that have been proven year after year that they don't have the children's interests at heart, holding tired and true to the devil you know rather than the devil you don't. My question to you is how long are you willing to sacrifice your children and our city? This vote on closing of schools ran like so many things here, messy and disrespectful to those it affects the most. Having a board whose lack of respect to those are supposed to serve to the point of blatant unprofessionalism continues to break apart what you claim that you want to build here. But your actions, style comments behind the microphones, threatening those to choose to highlight the wrongdoings and lack of accountability shows us who you are. Last meeting, there was so much animosity going on here amongst people here, but the fact that people didn't even respect the fellow committee members to sit here and wait till everything was done and just got up and left, that showed a lot. And that's all I have to say about this.
Kimberly Aguilera.
During the night of the public meeting, I asked this question: why do I have to suffer the consequences of your decision? I was ignored and never received a response. At Mount Vernon Leadership Academy, we are taught to advocate for ourselves, and that is exactly what I did at this meeting. Being an advocate is only one part of the education that I received at MVLA. The teachers and staff work beyond their means to provide my classmates and me with the best quality education. Mount Vernon Leadership Academy is a true neighborhood school with a large playground and field where we hold our school-wide events like Hispanic Heritage Celebration and Caribbean Day. If you truly care about the students, why is it that no one from the board has visited the school and walked through it? Before making this decision, our school has the space, the field, and positive role model in the staff who moved mountains for their students. I have attended Mount Vernon Leadership Academy since I was in pre-K. I have built strong relationships with friends and staff members, and that now is being taken away from me. As an advocate for myself and all of my students at MVLA, I asked, 1, why are you closing a school that is vibrant and uplifting? 2, why are you closing my school when there are other schools that need more money to fix them? 3, my final question I'd like to be answered tonight is, why is it that I and my classmates have to deal with the consequence of your mismanagement? The same question I asked weeks ago. So.
Thank you. Cynthia Crenshaw?
Cynthia Crenshaw. Okay, at the last meeting, last Tuesday, was a total disaster. You guys, this board is very much toxic. You embarrassed yourself and the audience that was here with you. I have been a part of this school's, well, PTA since 1984, and I have my Raggedy card to prove it. Okay, I have my card to prove that's how long I was part of this board. And what you did last week was a total disgrace. It looks like that this board does not work together, no shape, fashion, or form. You are like a train wreck going into 2 different directions. And how dare Adrian, yeah, I'm calling the names because you came to the NAACP and you called out my name.
Ms. Crenshaw.
Called out my name,
Crenshaw,
you
we
called
asked
out
you not
Morton,
to use
and you called
people's
out
names.
BC. Yes, you did.
She is,
You
I
called
don't know
out my
what's
name
going
so
on,
I can
but
call
here,
out your
you
name.
need to be respectful
And,
of
but you
the
wasn't
decorum.
respectful.
Let her finish.
Yes, I am. Please
No.
do not use anybody's name
Okay.
at the podium. You can say what you need to say.
Okay, I'm gonna say
Please,
what I
okay.
need to say. I'm gonna say what I need to say.
Please don't
But
use anybody's
your board members need to be respected also. Like we come up here and respect you, you should respect us and not call out my name at a board, Adrian and Lorna. It was very disrespectful. Another thing is when you guys took this vote here last week, it was a shame that a board member went offline with a lawyer that you paid $10,000 to, and the teachers could not get a vote. And when they came back, the trustee voted with the people that voted to close the school. You don't know how bad that looked, really? That they went offline, came back, and then they voted with the people that closed our school? Did that lawyer convince this board member to say yes and let's close this school? You had another board member that said they had a community meeting. I'm in that community. I know people on that block. Nobody had no community meeting. This board is ridiculous. Try to be transparent. And why couldn't you start taking off one school at a time? Take it off offline, one school at a time. Even if it was Parker that you took off offline, just one school. I may not have liked it, but I probably would have respected you for it if you came back and told us why you did it. You are not transparent. And what happened last week was a total disgrace. That board members should have never left and went out and talked to the lawyer that you gave that raise to. Because we believe that he convinced her to say yes. It might not have happened, but how do you think that looked to the community? How do you really think that look? This is a toxic board, and I'm telling you people, anybody on Facebook, whatever, like President Obama say, vote. Don't boo, but vote. Vote them off.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Brenda L. Crump.
Good evening, everyone. I want to share on the record a letter here that I received January 17th, 2025. Mount Vernon City School District Board of Education, 165 North Columbus Avenue, Mount Vernon, New York, 10553. Dear Mount Vernon School Board members, I am writing to express my profound disappointment with the conduct of the school board president, Adrian Saunders, and another board trustee. During the recent Mount Vernon NAACP General Membership Meeting,
Ms.
it was
Crump,
disheartening
excuse
to
me,
witness
Ms. Crump.
elected leaders
Crump.
entrusted. Are
Ms.
you going to give me
Crump.
back time? 'Cause
No,
you-
I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
then
gonna
I'm
ask
not
you
going
to stop calling people.
No, I'm reading a document.
I
Don't do that.
understand
I'm
that,
reading a
but
just as I
please
was reading from any
not-
publication.
do
I am
not-
reading a document.
Redact
Okay,
the
I'm going to
names,
stop and let
please.
you talk, and then I will resume, because I'm not going to
gonna
waste my
resume
time with you
You're not.
and
You're
talking.
not. If you continue to use people's name and call them out,
No,
that is
if I am reading
agreement.
a published document, this is what this
I don't know
document
that
says.
it's
I am reading
I
a
do not
document.
know that it's published. I'm telling you, at our meetings, it is public commentary. We request that you don't use anybody's name when addressing the board.
So, no, because I'm reading, just as I stand here, I read the Journal News, I read Black Westchester,
That's
I read
fine.
Low HUD, I
That's
read
fine.
anyone,
I'm saying
I read this
people
notification.
who work-
I'm entitled to do that. I'm
Are
reading a
entitled
document.
To read it. Please do not keep drawing personal references. That is what I'm requesting. Please. Please, Mrs. Crump, I'm asking you to please stick with the decorum of this.
I'm going to finish my letter. I'm going to finish my
Finish
comment.
the letter,
She
please
can-
redact the names. Because this is something that is not constructive.
Well, they don't follow
This
their
is
own
not
rules.
constructive, what is happening right now. We're asking for people to please respect the meeting. We want to hear from you. We ask that you please respect the meeting. You can read your statement. Please redact the names. That's all I'm asking.
Okay. So again, I'm not reading my statement. I am reading a letter I received as an NAACP Mount Vernon branch member. So all those who are members of the branch received this document, and that is what I'm reading. So now I will continue.
So can I
During
ask you
the
a
recent
question?
Mount Vernon NAACP General Membership Meeting,
Can I ask you
it
a
was
question, Ms.
disheartening. Will you stop interrupting me,
Can I ask you a
please?
question?
No, after
Is
I'm
this-
finished, then you may ask me a question as like when I
asking
ask
you
y'all
not-
questions,
not to
Trustee
refer-
Sabina. Come
not to
on.
refer to people's names. We respect.
Did I say anybody's name when I resumed? You're being very
You
rude and
never- you
disrespectful
never
now to
verified
the
that you would
speaker.
respect that, so I respect you to finish it. Go ahead.
May I
Yes,
begin
Mrs.
again?
Crump, you can.
Thank
Without
you.
the name?
May I begin reading the document
Without the
again,
name.
please?
Without the name.
Thank you. So I will start again. During the recent Mount Vernon NAACP General Membership Meeting, it was disheartening to witness elected leaders entrusted with representing our community intentionally and maliciously disrupt a gathering that serves as a vital platform for fostering understanding and collaboration. During the meeting, members of the Mount Vernon Board of Education disparaged the leadership of the Mount Vernon branch of the NAACP, suggesting that our focus should shift to the police department, a focus we already maintain, and discuss tax revenue matters involving the school district and the Mount Vernon Comptroller's Office. She also mentioned the NAACP voting process used last year and not receiving a ballot, despite being ineligible to receive a ballot due to her own expired membership. Board President Saunders declared when leaving our meeting, "I will not be silenced." Ms. Saunders claims to be a member of the NAACP despite being inactive
Thank you.
since
Thank you.
2018.
Thank you, Mrs. Crump. Thank you.
It is our assertion that her only intent was to engage in disruptive behavior.
Thank you, Mrs.
Such
Crump.
behavior
And
not
now,
only
thank you,
tarnishes
Mrs.
the
Crump.
reputation
Thank you,
of
Mrs.
those
Crump.
involved, but also
you, Mrs.
undermines
Crump.
the professionalism of
Thank you.
mutual respect that should characterize all community
Thank
interactions.
you, Mrs.
The
Crump.
Mount Vernon community deserves
Crump,
leaders
thank
who
you very much.
prioritize the best
We
interests
need to
of
move
our
on.
children and respect
If
the
there's
voices
somebody
of all
else-
stakeholders. I respectfully
Thank you, Mrs.
urge the
Crump.
board to reflect on how
Fine.
trustees
Thank you, Mrs. Crump.
engage community
Thank you,
meetings
Mrs. Crump.
and to ensure that future
Thank you,
interactions
Mrs. Crump.
embody the professionalism
Thank you,
and
Mrs.
respect
Crump.
our community deserves.
Thank you, Mrs. Crump.
Here's a public link
Thank you, Mrs. Crump.
about the 22 mark of
Thank you, Mrs. Crump. Thank you, Mrs. Crump. We need to move on. There are other people who would like to speak.
the page.
We respect your
For your attention to
attempt to come to our meeting, but this doesn't have to go
President
with
Mount
our
Vernon
Board of Education meeting.
P. Bragg.
This is not the forum for this.
914
So please relinquish the mic so we can continue with our meeting. Thank you very much. Mrs. Crump, we're asking you to relinquish the mic. We are asking security, we need to move on with this meeting. Please relinquish the mic so we can move on with this particular meeting. Please move on. Please move on. Go ahead, Rita.
So now my question to you is,
I'm sorry, your time is up. We need to move on with our meeting. Thank you for your comments. We need to move on with the meeting. Thank you.
your assertion
Thank
to
you,
disrupt that meeting?
Mrs.
That's my question to you.
Thank you, Mrs. Crump.
Thank you. Kathy Brewington. Kathy Brewington.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kathy Brewington. I represent the NAACP here in Mount Vernon. We're a new entity to the point where we're just getting started. We're getting our feet wet. We're walking into the community, and we're trying not to leave any stones unturned. I want to say good evening to the board members and to our community. But I want to correct some things. I won't come up here and do a whole lot of talking because I have some young people behind me, and they fired up. So all I'm going to do is come up here and tell you and correct some things. Individuals who are not members of the NAACP, unfortunately, past years, if they didn't leave us their cell phone number or if they didn't give us their email addresses, they did not get ballots to vote. So to come to our board meeting and say that we, what's the word they used? Thank you. Thank you. Election fraud. They accused us of election fraud, not realizing she was not a member. And she came out at me and said, I'm a member. Right. That's her words, not mine. So now we have a fraud and a liar. Did that hurt your feelings? I'm so sorry, but she presented herself in such a way that she represented this board in such a way that everything reflected back on you. Because when she stood up, you stood up. When she sat down, you sat down. Your attitudes, when she opened her mouth, reflected on this board, reflected on the school system, reflected on our district. It's disheartening and dissatisfying. Like I said, I'm not going to be up here long. But again, if you want to join our membership, please join so we can get this thing done together and we can make a difference. We can make a difference, not me. We, NAACP of MountVernon.org, NAACP.org. Go online, register, and do what you need to do. Vote. Your voice become your choice. Look up there. Look up there. Your voice, your vote, your voice, your vote, your voice, your vote. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Burrington.
Erica Peterson. Everyone at the front, if you're a member of this board, you are a publicly elected official, your name is allowed to be called by law by any public member who stands up here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the new year. My name is Erica Peterson, and I'm a resident and parent here in Mount Vernon. I would like to start off by sharing something about myself. You see, when I was a little girl, I would sit with my great-grandfather and my grandpa, and we would watch old westerns in black and white, or like my grandpa called them, shoot-'em-ups. So many times in these shows, there would be this person that came to town to sell a product that he promised would benefit the people living there. They called him a snake oil salesman. A snake oil salesman would sell or promote a fraudulent remedy to the townspeople, whether it be to cure a health ailment or to falsely give them some type of financial gain. The snake oil salesman used very deceptive marketing tactics. And after selling this dream product to the townspeople, they would disappear in the middle of the night without facing the consequences of their deception. Something that always stood out to me as a little girl was that the snake oil salesman never took accountability for their actions. And I never liked that. Now, fast forward to our school district today. We have had snake oil salesmen appear in the form of school board trustees who have sold this community a false product in the form of benefits to having 0 tax increases, along with the dream of fiscal responsibility and transparency. With palm cards from the May 2022 school board election that read, and I quote, "We believe your tax dollars must be spent properly." I guess spending almost $500,000 of unbudgeted money on legal fees was part of the promise. It also said, "We believe forensic audits must be performed and taxes reduced." I guess taxes reduced so low that the district will be unable to afford the upkeep of buildings, forcing them to close down, and thousands of students will be displaced was part of that promise too. Oh wait, both of the things, they kept those promises. Well, here we are right now, and $19.9 million has been depleted from our fund balance over the past 5 years. And neither trustee who has sat as heads of the Budget or Audit Committee has revealed that to the public, the taxpayers or the homeowners, because they're also about the homeowners. Here we are right now operating at a severe deficit. Here we are right now where almost $6 million was used to balance the 2024 to 2025 school budget, and those funds basically never existed. They didn't mention that. Those board members who have regurgitated the 0 tax increase cry year after year in their campaigns and spout false promise after false promise about financial transparency have taken full advantage of us voters here in Mount Vernon. They have taken their positions of power and trust and have become those snake oil salesmen from those old westerns I used to watch. So now as an adult, I tell you right now that I still do not like people who do not take accountability for their words and actions, especially when children are involved. Taking accountability means you sit up straight and you admit that your campaign promises some of you were selling were misleading and downright false. Those promises you sold the voters have now going to cost us alarmingly. Taking accountability means when a parent brings their child up to this mic, whether it be here at a school town hall, and they ask a board member a question, you have the decency to reply to that child's question. Taking accountability means when parents, children, and community members come up to a mic for questions and comments, instead of talking under your breath and at times cursing about them under your breath, you close your mouth and you listen. Taking accountability means that instead of stating to the public that as the head and an active member of the Budget Committee said, we've been lied to about the budget, instead say that as sworn elected officials of the school board, you have a fiduciary responsibility to oversee
Ms. Peterson.
basic
Thank you very
financial
much.
operations of the
Is
school
that the end of
district, and you
public
have failed to
commentary?
do so.
Okay,
At the
that
June
ends
19,
our
2024 school board
public
meeting,
commentary.
that policy 1512
Can we
public
please
work
move
sessions
on?
be adopted immediately. However, this board president has yet to implement it, once again showing the public a demonstrative effort to not give
Superintendent's
transparency
report.
or take accountability. This isn't an issue
We're on
just
to
about low
superintendent's
enrollment.
report.
This is an issue about the integrity
Please.
of the school
Ms. Peterson.
system.
Remove Thank you. We can continue with the meeting.
McDonough and Mitchell.
It is now the superintendent's report.
Thank you.
You did the same thing at Graham School. That's how you acted there. Same thing.
Good evening, Mount Vernon. Happy belated birthday to Martin Luther King Jr. And he stated, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Next up, we will be observing the Lunar New Year. The Lunar New Year is the beginning of a new year based on the lunar calendar. The Lunar New Year is an event celebrated by billions of people across the world on the first new moon of their calendar. I received a conference call from Commissioner Rosa. She has been informed about the courageous decision that was made at the special board meeting. Since last year, we have been told that we would receive a monitor as a result of the concerns initially about the grants, but now about our fiscal distress. Commissioner does plan to appoint a monitor to assist us with our fiscal distress. Mr. Noel Campbell, could you please introduce our EAP presenter? Is she?
She's on? Okay. Good evening. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce Chelsea Capstraw, our dedicated account manager for the Employee Assistance Program. As an experienced professional with a varied background in business and higher education, Chelsea aims to work closely with our staff members to understand the specific needs and tailor their services to meet those needs effectively. EAP was designed to address the challenges that teachers and school staff face every day while carrying out their important mission. ESI, Employee Assistance Group, is the nation's most comprehensive network of providers delivering comprehensive core EAP benefits and a targeted menu of resources addressing the unique professional issues that educators face. With over 37 plus years of experience, they provide solutions to life's challenges. Access to these resources have been shown to minimize employee absenteeism and improve productivity and efficiency in the workplace, which in turn benefits all of our students. Chelsea?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your time this evening. As Noel mentioned, my name is Chelsea Capstraw, and I am the account manager for Mount Vernon City School District. And I'm here to give you a brief overview of your employee assistance benefits, which you'll always hear referred to as the EAP program. So you're probably wondering, what exactly is an employee assistance program, an EAP? Basically, it's for all life's challenges. If you're married, you got a boyfriend, you got kids, you have your job, you got stress. So if you are needing some assistance when it comes to that stress, or perhaps parenting, grief, debt, depression, we're here to help you. We understand that the new normal now is for people to use their EAP and take advantage of it. And as mentioned before, we have been helping people for over 37 years, and we want you to know that we are here to help you. So I always say to people when they're like, but I still don't understand, what exactly is an EAP? Think of it as health insurance helps you with your physical well-being. Your EAP is here to help you with your emotional, your mental, as well as your professional or personal well-being. We provide a variety of solutions, whether it's in the moment telephonic support, which I'll speak more about on the next slide, next few slides, counseling, which could be face-to-face, telehealth, text, voice or video, self-help resources, which you'll have access to on our Educators EAP website once you set up your profile. And then we also provide you with work-life balance benefits, whether you need some help finding an attorney, perhaps maybe need some assistance with financial coaching or debt services, or special needs for children that you might need some services for, as well as personal and professional development. We partner with a company known as Biz Library that provides you with access to over 10,000 different online trainings that you will have access to. And often your employer might assign them to you so that you're meeting compliance or regulation or perhaps policy trainings, or maybe you're interested in improving some skills such as Excel or learning how to code. And then we have peak performance coaching, which is a real plus and differentiates us from other EAPs because you will have the ability to reach out to certified coaches in 18 different areas and seek their assistance in your personal development. And who is covered by the EAP? Everyone in your household, whether they're family, whether they're your mom, your aunt, your cousin, your adult children that are over the age of 28 that left and came back, whoever's in your household has access to these benefits. And if you do have dependent children, they are covered up to age 26 if they are living out on their own. I always recommend to parents when their students are going back to school or off to school in the fall, and right now many college students are going back to school, make sure that they have our 800 number. That way, should they need assistance if they're at exam times feeling a bit overwhelmed and they need to talk to somebody, they don't have to wait to get into the counseling center that at times can be overwhelmed on different college campuses. So if they have access to the 800 number and they need to talk to somebody because just the work or the pressure's on, they are in good hands, and we have certified counselors that'll be able to help them. And what's nice about this benefit is that it is confidential. So all contacts and counseling records are confidential, except when required by law to be disclosed. And those two conditions are whether you're a threat to yourself or to others, or perhaps there's a suspicion of child or elderly abuse. That's the only time information would be shared when it comes to contacts and counseling records. So I like to show this visual because it really gives you an idea of all the different areas that you can utilize your EAP for, whether it's personal, as I mentioned before, with stress, depression, if you're grieving and you want to talk to somebody, or if you have concern about your child with some learning disabilities, you can reach out to us and ask for some guidance. Also with family and relationships. We're known as the sandwich generation because we are like the first group of people that have perhaps parents that might be under our care and under our household, as well as children that we're attempting to raise and some that need to get out the house and haven't gotten out yet. We're considered the sandwich generation. So sometimes you need some help with where can I find elder care? Or can you help me with daycare or nanny type of services? Our 800 number, or you can go online, you'll be able to access the resources, or if you choose to call in, they'll be able to guide you. Also with financial and legal, Christmas just came, and sometimes, some of us may have gone a little overboard with the credit card, so you need to get back on track. You can work with a certified financial counselor that will be able to help you set up a plan and figure out how you can pay down that debt in a set period of time. Also, tax time is going to be coming up soon, so you might want to be able to get some advice on how you should go about planning your taxes or estimated taxes, or how you can lower your taxes. You can reach out and speak to someone about that as well. And then with work and career, if you're interested in learning how to, improve your management skills, or you want to learn how to be better with your time, you can reach out to our 800 number or go utilize the self-help resources on the website and help learn that you can do better in those particular areas or improve or develop those skills. So the first benefit I want to talk to you about is the one that most EAPs are known for, and that's the telephonic counseling. This is in-the-moment support when people might be feeling overwhelmed or stressed or don't have a counselor and have been considering going to counseling and they want to talk to somebody. What's great about our program is that the phones are answered by counselors that have at least a master's and PhD level degree, and they all have years of experience. The phones are manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And how it works is if you decide that you need to call someone and you want to talk to them, your counselor will, and the counselor that answers is the person that is going to be able to assist you. You're not like leaving a message and then having someone call you back. Your counselor is going to talk to you, find out what the problem is, do an assessment, and speak to you as long as you need them to talk to you. If you both decide that perhaps you like to extend and go for further counseling, what they will do is work with you to find a provider that is in your network, that's in the area that you're interested in seeing someone, as well as what type of modality you'd like that to be delivered. So if you're interested in going in person, or if you want to do telehealth, or you want to just continue on the phone, they work with you based upon what your needs are. And it's been very, very great. It's been wonderful. People take full advantage of this. And with your particular program, you all have 3 sessions. So if you decided to work with a counselor, you would have 3 sessions that are covered by the EAP. And then when you go to your 4th session, that would kick into your health insurance. Another benefit that we've just recently added, and this was based upon what the market was asking for, is Talkspace Go. This is an app that the employees can download on their phone, and it is free. You have to use the code ESI-EAP, and it allows them to have digital therapy. Basically, they're walking around with therapy in their pocket. Many people that subscribe to it have been very happy with the types of reminders that they need, the self-guided plan that was designed for them. How it works is a person would download the app, they would fill out the information, then they would take an assessment. And then based upon the assessment, they would be given a self-guided type of program to follow. So if you're interested in journaling or meditation exercises or reminders, your phone is going to tell you when it's time to, pause and write something positive down, or, pause and meditate for a few minutes, or stand up and breathe. But people that use it absolutely love it. There are over 400 self-guided programs that people can follow. You can jump on live weekly therapist-led classes, and what's nice is it's anonymous, so no one knows that maybe you jumped on the coupling class or the one about how to manage your inner trauma. And if you can't catch it live, you can go back and watch it on demand. So it's been really a terrific benefit. Many people are taking advantage of it, and it's Talkspace Go, and it's free, and you can use the ESI EAP code. The legal benefit is a big area that people like to take advantage of. And so how this works is it's designed to help you with personal legal issues. The 2 issues that you can't use it, though, for are your employment and for medical concerns. But everything else, wills, traffic violations, divorce, custody, how you can take advantage of this is set up your list of questions. You can call the 800 number and ask for the legal area. You'll be connected to an attorney who is going to give you a 30-minute consult. It's up to 30 minutes. I always say to people, before you call, have your questions, because you know how attorneys are. They're going to start billing once you go over the allowed amount. If you decide after your consultation with that attorney that, you know what, I would like to be referred to an attorney that can handle my particular case. They will find you one. It's not going to be the person you're speaking to because that would be a conflict of interest and they might sway you to use them anyway. They will refer you to an attorney, and if you should choose to use that attorney, you will get a 25% discount off of the hourly rate. What else is nice about the legal benefit is that you also have access on our website to an entire legal library that has all kinds of templates and different bits of information that might be of use to you depending upon what your question might be. And I always say to people, if your mind is right, you don't need any therapy. You got a guy, so you don't need any legal advice as well, and you got some extra money and you want to save some money, take advantage of our lifestyle benefits. This is another feature that you will find online. There's the lifestyle savings benefit tile, and there you enjoy discounts and rewards from over 1,000 different brands in a variety of categories, such as health and wellness, auto, electronics, apparel. I can tell you from my own experience, I saved money on my Club Pilates membership just a few weeks ago. I had a woman out in one of my other groups that was taking her family to Disneyland, and she saved on the Disneyland tickets, the hotel, as well as a rental car. If you're looking for a car or you're looking for a new TV or some kind of electronics, I would definitely take a look there. And if you have pets, I just saw today that there's that farmer's market, the new dog food thing, there's some kind of big discount that people were talking about that just popped up. And they also have all kinds of different wellness things. There's the GLP-1 supplements that there are different types of companies that you can take advantage of the discounts that they have there. So I always say start, if you're going to go on the website, start with the lifestyle savings benefit. Save yourself some money, and then you can move into the other areas if need be. So I just want to give you a brief overview of what the website looks like. So you'll be on the Educators EAP. At the top, there's always like a monthly topic that they cover, a monthly feature. You'll see there's also up the very top language. There's over 16 different languages that people can look at the website in. You can watch an orientation video. So if you want to share this with your household and they're asking you, well, how does this work? You can tell them it's a 5-minute video. You can tell them to watch the video. You can also click to the personal assistant, or if you want to get some coaching, you can fill out those intake forms there. In the center, and then there's always the search bar right up at the top. So if you have a particular topic that you're interested in and you want to go right to it, you can just put it right where the magnifying glass is. In the center, this is where you can explore your benefits section. So you have a variety of topics that you can choose from. The training center would be, that's our partnership with Biz Library would be there, the lifestyle benefits. Supervisor resource centers really for just administration and supervisors. But what's nice is there's a special educators resource center, which has topics and subjects that are applicable just to the education field. But again, you have work life, the legal, wellness, a variety of things you can choose from. And it's kind of like Pinterest. Once you click on one thing, you're just going to keep looking and looking and looking, and before you know, an hour has gone by. And then at the bottom, we have our featured learning centers. And usually each quarter, there's about 5 different topics that they have. And right beneath that, there's a content tree, everything from assessment calculators to forms to recipes you can find down at the bottom of the website page. So let's recap. Your EAP is here to help you with life's problems and distractions. We want you to take advantage of everything that we have to offer. We are more than just giving us a call when you need help at the moment. We have the coaching, we have the legal, we have the access to the self-help resources on the website. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's an employer-provided benefit for the employees of the district, and it's free. There's no cost to you or the immediate families, and it's strictly confidential. And we have a 98% overall member satisfaction rate. So with that being said, I want to make sure that you all have can you see the telephone number again? 800-252-4555, as well as the website, educatorseap.com. And you can scan the QR code if you'd like to pull up the website on your telephone. So does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I'd like to know, is that open to the trustees?
I have a question.
Sure.
First, thank you very much for this presentation. Just so I'm understanding, this is a presentation that would have gone out to our employees, right? This is more so for our employees, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm hoping that a vast majority. How is this being communicated to our employees? Is it being done properly? Because I'm pretty certain it might be all of 3 employees sitting watching our board meeting right now. How are the rest of our employees being reached with this material so that they know about these benefits?
So how it works is each month we send out a monthly newsletter, and that is sent to our primary contacts that are in our database for the group. And that will list like a calendar of resources. It'll highlight all the different topics. It'll also be sent to I'll send additional information when I send out monthly reports to my contact as well. We also send out additional event information, such as we have webinars that are going to be coming up. So we'll send out, like we have a educator's overview March 5th. So that information is going out. So the Mount Vernon is very good with communicating with us. We were actually out there in the fall doing a training with some of the teachers' assistants, and it was well attended. So you all are pretty good with being familiar with using the benefits. And I'm always, I'm always interested in whenever there's like professional development days, if we want to set up additional overviews for the district, we're always communicating and working on how can we just make sure it stays out in front of people and they're aware of them, the benefits that are out there.
How long has this
Okay,
been in
thank you.
effect in the district?
The other question, actually,
Just
this
a
question
moment,
is directed to
Trustee
Dr.
Mitchell.
Smith. Dr. Smith,
Just a
you
moment.
mentioned that
Just a
Betty
moment,
Rosa
Trustee Mitchell.
had provided. Did you mention that she provided this service, this oversight? I'm trying to understand what oversight is that actually pertains to the issues that the district is facing right now.
I'm sorry, Trustee Mitchell, could you please let her complete her presentation? And everyone has the opportunity to ask questions, and then you could ask your question.
Oh, sure. I thought she was done because it said
I'm
questions
done.
on the screen. No problem. Yeah, that's what I thought. So Dr. Smith,
they're
can we
asking
get an answer to that? How exactly is Ms. Chelsea's interaction right now going to oversight the district with the challenges it faces, which is, I think that's what you had stated. That's why she's here in the beginning. Just trying to understand the connection.
So, did you hear the question? I'm sorry.
You want me to ask it again? I can ask it again. Maybe have some technical difficulties. But either way, the question was, how is, if you said at the beginning of the presentation that Betty Rosa thought we were courageous and things we've been doing as a district, so she sent in someone who would oversight the issues. I'm confused. I'm trying to understand how Ms. Chelsea is going to oversight the issues in this district. This was the presentation on employee benefits, and they're very good. I have benefit package like this at my job as well. It's very good. I have the legal help, and she's definitely right about not talking to the lawyers too longer than 30 minutes. But trying to understand exactly how she's actually going. She's been assigned here by Betty Rosa to oversight district issues. Can you just elaborate on your statement from the beginning?
So these are two different things. This person came to speak about EAP. The Betty Rosa is a very separate statement that I made. So one thing doesn't have anything to do with the other. And that's why I was saying, please let her finish, and then we could address other questions.
Okay, thank you. So there's going to be something separate on what Betty Rosa said
Yes.
to us about that oversight. Are you presenting that tonight, or is that something the board is going to see it later on?
I'm not presenting that. I gave you what she gave me, and I told you what she said last week.
Oh, I'm
So,
sorry. I haven't checked my emails. Has that been emailed to us what she stated, or is that something just
no,
for you to see?
I told you this evening.
Okay, I'll send an email. Thank you.
Yeah, she said she sent in a monitor. I don't know when, but they've been.
So to our
Okay.
presenter, can I ask a question as to how long this has been in the district, this particular program? Is this a new program?
No, I believe you all have had it since 2019.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess right before COVID?
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
I have more of a comment, but I actually, after the presenter has left the room, so I have questions for actually the cabinet and for the superintendent.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to thank the presenter. I think there's a mismatch here. This is, I'm not sure why this young woman is presenting to us. It's not respectful to the time of the audience. It's not respectful to my time. I'm a volunteer. People misunderstand. We're volunteering our time.
Dr.
This is
McDonough,
great.
Dr.
Excuse me.
No, that's me. No, I would just say
Oh,
we
sorry.
can ask the guests to leave.
No, I want to let her know. It's not. It's
Okay,
no fault of hers, right? I thought it was a great presentation. It's just not the right audience. So I'm not sure why it is that I'm not sure why this was chosen to put before the board. I expressed earlier that this shouldn't go on. We have important things to do in this district. We don't have time to deal with this stuff. So go ahead, Donna.
That was actually going to be my comment as well. My question number one was, this presentation was for the board. Is there a contract that we're considering? Is it an actionable item on the agenda? And if not, then I just don't understand why it was being presented tonight when we do have more pressing issues.
Oh, so can I address that, please?
Okay.
EAP is a service for staff members. In the same way that we have FSW to work with parents and families during this difficult time, we have EAP to work with staff who may also be experiencing difficulties during this transition. So she gave information. Closing 3 schools is a very difficult thing. People might have concerns and might need somewhere to go to discuss some of those concerns. So the reason that this is being presented today is for our staff members who could possibly use some of this service.
This is a meeting of the Board of Education, the trustees of the Board of Education. This is not a staff meeting, so this should be presented to the staff at a staff meeting or during your opening for the school year to let them know what benefits and services are available to them. This is not an appropriate item on this agenda for tonight.
Well, basically, this is a part of the superintendent's report. It's a part of HR, and we use the vehicles we have to get information to the people that needs to receive it.
I would just ask that we would be more discerning about the items that we place on the agenda.
I just want to ask a question. If this was already in place since 2019, why are we doing it now? This is something she stated that has already been in place since prior to COVID. So that means that all the staff is aware of EAP. I'm also a person who's a part of the federal, and I have EAP. It's a great thing. But again, it's something that we get once we join the job. And yeah, onboarding. So if this is something that was already in place since 2019, it seems like we're just, again, everyone said, wasting time. Oh, and if we do have something for the parents, why didn't we do a presentation on the one for the parents? I think she agrees. She's smiling.
We thank you for your presentation, though.
Thank you. I'm sorry, but took up too much time. Take care. Good luck with everything.
Committee reports, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Superintendent is not finished.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify the concerns about the pre-K and special ed budget. Last meeting, we were told that students received $30,000 per pupil for supplies. I wanted to talk about the 611, 619, and 450 budget for the 23, 24, and 24, 25 school year. Next page, please. So the IDEA budget, the 619 is the pre-K budget. If you look, 23, 24, the pre-K budget was $89,528. As you could see, it goes for benefits, it goes for flow through to the private schools, it can go through supplies, and as well as indirect. This year, we got $74,926 for what's called the 619. So that's for 2 years. Next slide is 611. 611 is for school age, but we can utilize some of the monies for preventative services for pre-K. You'll see 23-24, we actually used $2,065,037, and that's for teacher salaries, teacher's assistants, psychologists, social worker, clinical salary, contracted salaries, the flow through to private school, supplies and materials for the entire district, and travel, health insurance, dental, that's TRS, ERS. So it's for the entire district. Our budget for this year, and we're waiting for final approval, is $2,341,971. That's the budget. Many salaries. Didn't present the actual budget because it has many staff names in that budget. Lastly, next page. This is the pre-K, the Rebecca Turner pre-K supplies and materials. These are the amount that was spent specifically on pre-K. For the 23 in October 11, 23, it was $10,420, and it was $5,108. This comes from the 450 budget. In June, it was $997.58 and $933.10. Could you turn to the next page, please? These are the proof of how money, the purchase order was how money was spent. So it corresponds with the others. So I just wanted you to have the correct information about Rebecca Turner Academy and their pre-K. Thank you.
Is it possible for us to receive those documents?
I sent it to you.
There's,
I sent them to you.
all right.
What I saw today was the supply orders. The supply orders were orders for 23 October to about July 2024. My question was in the last meeting, what happened to all the monies prior to me being elected in May 2023? Because that's when I got the complaint about how prior to that, the pre-K at RTA had not received monies that they did see they should have gotten, like you're just showing it all to me right now, showing it to all of us, that they should have gotten and did not get. That, thank God for Dr. Gail White Wallace, who graciously, prior to, helped them to get what they needed as per or order sent to her. But never did they really see the monies that they should have. whether it was 30,000, 2,000, IDA, 611, 619, all that money that they should have gotten did not go to them as it should have. And you had a whole list of things that we could talk about. So if in fact you could send that analytical systematic breakdown, then we can revisit it again, because my understanding is that they didn't see the monies.
I did send it to you already.
I just saw the supply order. I didn't see anything besides that you just showed. So did you send that?
I sent everything that
You
I
sent
had.
everything that you just showed?
Yes.
Okay, because I only saw the supply order. But I will look, and again, that supply order was only after I came in that I mentioned it to you, and I said that in the last meeting, that what you did was make sure that they tried to get an order as per Ms. Ford, the secretary, who did the order, and they got what they needed from October 2023 after I came in May 2023, and they hadn't gotten nothing. Okay, so basically, we just want to follow suit, because they get more money than you were mentioning that they have not, in some respects, have not seen.
I showed you the budget so you'll see that they don't get what you think they got. I showed you the
Whatever
supply
they get,
orders.
Dr. Smith.
Okay.
I
sent it to you so you'll be able to review it in its
and
entirety.
I will. Trust me, I will. I
Okay,
will.
thank you.
But my concern is all of what you presented up there, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. Listen, we're gonna revisit it, because to just put it up and say, okay, that's it. Because there's more to it than meets the eye.
But trustee
And
Mix-
basically, they just did not get.
Wait a minute.
You know, like they said, they weren't getting supplies. I mentioned it to you when I was elected, because it came to me. And prior to that, they weren't even getting supplies.
So
Only if Dr. Gail White Wallace helped them to get it.
Trustee Middleton, are you requesting an investigation?
I am.
Because-
I'm going to look at what Dr. Smith
Well,
said she presented, because I didn't see it. I only saw
We
the supply
haven't-
order.
So as the other trustees on the board, we have no idea what you're referring to, because you seem to have your own source. So can you present some of that information?
No, it's
to
just,
us?
it's not my own source. I'm just speaking on
saying.
behalf of the staff.
I
Okay, who are
understand.
very concerned about the monies.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
could you please provide us with some background?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's why I said I'm gonna
Because
go and
it should be a
basically with what she
consensus.
gave,
Okay,
I will.
it should be a consensus.
Okay, in that case, I will investigate that more, and
It's
then basically come back.
It should be a consensus with the board that we do any type of investigation. So it's sharing and kind of.
She used that word, so
It,
that's what
it's, well, it is, in a sense, you're telling us that there's something that was done previously, and so the
Yeah,
only
there
way
was
to
a
know
complaint.
about
That
it.
was a complaint from staff members
Right,
that came
but we
to
would-
me.
So can we get some
So,
background information on that?
trustee, I will.
Thank
I will
you.
get
I
the
appreciate
information.
that.
Let's use that word rather than investigate, because then we're going to
I'm
a whole
sorry.
different level.
Madam Chair, I just reviewed my emails again, and I don't see the presentation that you sent, that you displayed tonight.
That's what I'm saying.
I
didn't
do
see
not
that
see
either.
that in our documents. If you could just resend it, please, so that I can compare.
It didn't come from me. It came from Rita.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification, okay. Can we move on to committee reports?
Hold on one second. I have one question. Since we're on the vein of talking about one of the topics of the reorg, which was pre-K, when will we have a definite understanding, or has it already been confirmed and shared, where the sundown students are going if we're moving them out of Rebecca Turner? And if we don't have that answer yet, how soon will it be before we know, so that we can so everybody knows?
So what was voted on at the last board meeting included that the sundown program will be up at Mount Vernon High School.
It's going to be at the high school, correct? Okay. No, the reason I asked the question is because, yes, it was part of the resolution, but it needed to be asked live so that everyone listening could hear the answer. That's where sundown kids, students are going, to the Mount Vernon High School.
Thank you. Thank you for that question.
Just for point of clarification, I do see that it did come from Rita at 4:24, so I did not have an opportunity to see it today. It just came today. Thank you.
It also was sent last week, so Rita sent it then, but the PowerPoint was sent to you today.
And that was my request for the PowerPoint. So thank you.
Committee reports. Audit report, Trustee Kerwin.
So the audit committee has not met.
Budget and Finance.
So the budget and finance, there, I just want to clarify what a trustee posted on social media. A current trustee, trustee, posted on social media that the budget itself, that I instructed the budget, withheld the budget to be posted on the school website. And what was posted was 3 pages, which is really incorrect, maliciously said. It was not 3 pages. It's even unlawful for the community to vote on a budget that they do not see. What I requested, and everybody could, if your memory serves you correctly, I said that the spreadsheet that was given previously by the business superintendent was not conducive to the budget itself, because it was all cumbersome. It was like 98 pages, it's overwhelming, and the budget committee agreed that the budget should be put onto the system. The system that we paid for is the application that we paid for. And so we all agreed that the budget should be placed into that application, so make it more simple so the community could read the budget. It's so unlawful for, for a trustee to put out such false information on social media. But next week, the budget committee will be meeting, and after the meeting, since the vote was just passed last week, Jose asked for some time to get the budget together, so we will be meeting next week. But I just wanted to clarify that the budget that was posted is the budget in its entirety, and not 2 to 3 pages. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee.
I have a question.
Kerwin.
I have a question. So just what I'm following, you just clearly stated the original version of the budget was roughly 90 pages long, which is erroneous, because I have a copy of it, the printed out version. But you are saying that a 90-page budget you shrunk down to less than 8 pages, 6 pages, 3 pages? You shrunk it down to that? That budget that was presented had summaries. And within those summaries were millions and millions of dollars. And you failed, and you felt, you made it clear on the microphone and numerous times, the public didn't need that level of detail. But it's a $271 million budget, and you felt that our public taxpayers did not need that level of detail, nor did you feel the trustees needed it, which is in contrast to historical practices and ultimately is not any way transparent. There's so many questions that should have been asked on that budget. Every time we sit here and we have a transfer of funds, that's a question that should have been asked on the budget before the budget was presented. And it's the main reason why there are so many questions, and why I, the trustee who posted the fact that, yes, you did shrink that down 3 pages, maybe you might be wrong about that, but the parts of the budget that had the numbers, not the literature before it, the parts of the budget that had the numbers was really only 3 or 4 pages. But I'm not going to argue that. The bottom line is, how would you imagine sharing a 90 some odd page budget, shrinking it down to 3 to 10 pages would be viable for a voting public that wants to see the details? How could you imagine that that would be considered or even construed as transparent?
So, Trustee Mitchell, you know that I do not work day to day in the business office, correct? So, the business superintendent, who is Jose, when the budget committee met, we actually went to an agreement that the spreadsheet, which was a worksheet, Excel spreadsheet, we are in the digital world, right? An Excel spreadsheet that changes daily that was not transparent. And so the district had a software that the budget could enter, they could enter the budget into that software, and it calculates, right? It calculates the numbers, and it gives the right information for transparency. The spreadsheet that you had for 98 pages, that was not transparent. And you know that, because you even said it many a times. So for you to go take to social media is unethical, and it goes against the fabric of the school district and the board for you to do such a thing. Thank you. Not only that, well, Trustee Mitchell, let me also clarify something, because you also want to know if parents that have students in the district, if they pay more school taxes than parents that do not have.
I never asked that. Make sure you be clear
Well,
here. I never asked
let me correct you. Parents that has students in the school district, you want to know if they pay more taxes than parents than taxpayers that don't have students in the district. They do not. Students do not pay. Parents do not pay more if they have students. It does not go by that. It goes by property taxes, and the property taxes is assessed by the tax assessor, not the school district.
Oh, sorry.
That ends my school. That's end my budget comment.
In a board email between board
Okay,
members.
can we now?
Is that what you're referring to?
We'll move now to the Education Committee, which is.
Oh, okay. All right. And also, by the way,
I'm the chair.
That budget that you said wasn't 3 pages.
We're
is
going to
what the
talk
district
about
said
testing
right now. It's
updates.
2 pages, actually. It's 2 pages.
iReady Windows number 2, New York State Education Assessment Preparation, the Renaissance Secondary MTSS. We discussed STEAM entry exam, K-8 and 912 ELA committee updates. We talked about instructional rounds and the process for evaluating directors, assistant principals, department chairs, and special education supervisors. I don't know if Dr. Doggett would like to. Okay. Thank you. So we will move on to the facilities report. Does anybody, Trustee White, have a report for facilities? Okay. You're on mute,
Are
Trustee
you saying
White.
my name,
Trustee White. You're very low, Trustee White.
Yeah, she's asking that I give the report. So,
Okay.
Is that what you're saying, Wanda? If you can give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's
then
fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
So the facilities department did have a meeting this past, I think it was just this past week. We covered several items. As usual, we're always working within district. I want to take a second. As usual, I'm just going to shout out our custodians, cleaning crew, our buildings and grounds people, because they're doing their thing despite a lot of challenges and changes they're facing. And they're really doing their thing. Our workers are going in, doing a lot of the repairs on their own. We had there were several matters that were talked about, but it was really just various repairs and things like that. But identifying other issues is still an ongoing process. So that's all I have for this week. I apologize that it's not more robust, but I hope to have something better for next week.
That is
for next
fine,
meeting.
because if we have it on a monthly basis, we appreciate the report. Okay, next report is family and community, which would be, I think the only one on that committee now is Dr. Middleton has resigned her position as chair, so it'd be Trustee McDonough.
Hi. Yeah, the Family and Community Engagement Committee met on the 16th. Actually, I didn't put this here because I need to use my hand. Sorry. It's a little low for me. Let's see if that's better. We talked a little bit about the new policy that was revised by, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Sarita Collins, I think, did some of the edits, and then the policy committee finalized that tonight. We're going to have the second reading on that policy. So hold on. That's a fun event. Parent Involvement Day is scheduled for February 10th. Gail White Wallace will be organizing and hosting that event. There are a lot of upcoming events in the district, too numerous for me to mention here. At least I count at least 20, which is fantastic. One program that caught my attention was this positive parenting program that's being done. That's a fabulous program, and a great new addition to that is using a translation software so that we can reach more parents who are non-native English speakers. So that's an excellent thing. We talked also about the possibility of maybe using our fantastic parent outreach team to help with getting information out about the reorganization. I think that would be very fruitful. Everyone seemed to be very enthusiastic about that. I think that's about it. It was good. The committee has been inactive. I think hopefully now we'll be more active going forward for the spring. So that's it. Thanks.
Excuse me, Trustee McDonough. Where would we find that information of those events? Would it reside on the website?
It's a good question. I'm looking at a flyer. Dr. Duggett, is this flyer up on the website?
Yes, this flyer for the Parent Resource Center should be up on the website, but the other flyer is building based, that was just to organize information, but I may consider actually posting that one on the website as well. Sorry.
Push the button.
Yes, the maroon flyer of the Parent Resource Center is up on the website. It was sent to MV Communications today. We just reviewed the second one, and I'm going to review it to see if it's ready for publishing on the website. But this one, the district-wide one for the Parent Resource Center is published.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Human Resources, which would the chair is Trustee White. You're on mute, Trustee White. Can you unmute yourself?
We had a meeting, the HR department had a meeting on
Trustee White, you have to raise the level of your mic. We cannot hear you. You have to talk into your mic.
You hear me?
It's very low. It's difficult to hear you.
Let's see.
You want to try it again, Trustee White? We cannot hear you. Okay, Trustee.
I have no idea.
Okay, that's a little better. Maybe if you, raise your voice a little more, maybe we can understand you.
No. I have no idea. I'll
Okay, at that level, we'll at least get some of it.
Are you still for me? The HR meeting on January 16th, we talked about the staffing process that will be taking place, putting where all the teachers will be going and students to their schools that they've been selected to go. We talked about seniority. We had Mr. Kurt Shocker from the CSEA to come and explain the procedure of CSEA and talked about some things that were going on with the CSEA. And we also noticed that we did get one more librarian and one physical education teacher, which we're having a hard time filling those slots. I just want to remind everyone that if you have a family member or a good friend or something and we're voting on it, you must abstain from that vote, especially a family member. And that was basically talked about.
Thank you very much, Trustee White. We have the committee IDA, which would be,
And then this.
oh, sorry,
so-
are you finished?
I'm finished.
Okay, I'm sorry I stepped on you. We have an IDA report from Trustee McDonough.
Yes, thank you. The IDA did meet on January 9th. We discussed the possibility of initiating a lawsuit against Dominican Magic, which is a project that's receiving a pilot from the IDA. They have not been making their pilot payments. So that may move forward. We'll see about that. My request for details about transaction fees that are received from the developer by the law firm Harris Beach, who represents the IDA, has still gone unanswered. Just to refresh your memory, back in November, I had asked about fees. The law firm that represents our IDA also collects from the developers, which to me seems like a pretty clear conflict of interest, that they're getting paid from both sides of the transaction. I asked for details about those fees. So far, I have not gotten an answer. Comptroller Morton joined in with my request for details about those fees. Hopefully that will help. Robin Mack, who is the executive director of the IDA, said that we will have an answer this week. So hopefully by the next meeting, I'll be able to report on that and we see the magnitude of those fees that they collect and if they're material. There's a new project that appeared pretty suddenly. It wasn't on the agenda until that morning, which is surprising, but it's a new project that's seeking a 30-year payment in lieu of taxes agreement from the IDA. This is another low-income housing project. It's called Sentinel on 3rd. The developer is a company called Penrose. This would have 188 rental units in a 7-story building. None of them are market rate. So just beware. You may hear developers trying to float that these are so-called mixed income projects, but they are not. Mixed income projects include market rate. There are no market rate units in this building. There's another developer before the city council right now, and they also have put a resolution that is deceptive. It refers to market rate apartments, but there are no market rate apartments. This is a strategy developers use to kind of deceive communities into thinking they're getting something that they're not. This has, the closest they get is 22 units, about 10% are at 90% of the area median income. The other 80% are at 50% or 60% of the area median income. In finance terms, that's considered very low income housing and low income housing. They seem to be there at this meeting trying to get a land use agreement. They're trying to use property that's owned by the city and the IDA, URA, as well as some properties that are held privately by LLCs. They need to bring all these properties together in a complex transaction through the IDA in order to make this project work. They were looking to get the IDA to give them permission to do that. I was surprised since there's been no economic impact analysis done, so I raised that issue, and so they stopped that. We should have an economic impact analysis for the next IDA meeting. I'll be curious to see that. One thing that's interesting about this project that's different from the others is they're claiming to attract a contractor that works with Con Ed to move a light industry, a light manufacturing project to the location, a 10,000 square foot light industry, which could mean some jobs. They're predicting it could mean 75 jobs. That sounds great. That part of the project is attractive to me. The question for me is, why don't they just do that? Like, why not attract manufacturing back? The city owns the property, so the city could give lease agreements to attract them and not build more of this housing and give these 30-year tax breaks, which makes it nearly impossible to hold politicians accountable for giving away property taxes that the school district sorely needs. One of the things that I raised actually to our board leadership here was I'd like to get a resolution on the agenda. This would be a principled resolution. The model language would read something like: the Mount Vernon City School District Board of Education believes that only a school board should be allowed to abate school tax revenues, and only within strict limits. No state or local agency, such as the Mount Vernon IDA, no other board, municipality, or county government, or any political subdivision thereof, should be allowed to abate school tax revenues without exception. I think there's movement to get that going, and it makes a lot of sense. We're not allowed to give away the city's taxes. Why should the IDA be allowed to give away our taxes? So that's all I have for now.
Thank you.
Question. Then I have a question. What's the address of that project?
It's a parcel of land that's on 3rd Avenue and 3rd Street. Definitely needs to be redeveloped. It's interesting. A lot of the property is owned by the city and the IDA, which for me makes me wonder, why haven't they been attracting companies to do light industry there before? Why does it take a developer from out of Mount Vernon to come into the city and propose a new project? I know why, is because it's very lucrative for the developers. They will make a lot of money at local tax payers will pay that price in lost property taxes.
Committee report on insurance, Chairperson Kerwin.
We have not met.
Okay. The chairperson for the policy committee, which would have been Adrian Sanders or Helene Njenga, Thompson Njenga. Okay, thank you. I think you push the button on that one and hold it until it turns green.
One, as to the insurance committee, we're still working through a process that would streamline some of the legal fees and how we do business in Mount Vernon, so there hasn't been a need to meet in reference to that until I streamline that. Two, as to the policy committee, I'm going to read the second version of 2 different policies that was presented before. The policy committee meeting is scheduled in February. What will be presented to the policy committee is our safe haven, potential safe haven policy, given that we have a new presidency and we have immigrants that are in our community, even ourselves. If you look at our history, we want to be prepared to maybe be able to take that head on, noting that there should be heavy conversation as to how that would affect us federally if there are any sanctions for doing such. So that meeting, I think, is scheduled for February the 16th. So those are those 2 committees.
Thank you. Safety and Security Committee, again, Helene Thompson, or if Trustee Mitchell, did you have a safety and security meeting?
I don't know if Trustee Jingo wants to give
No,
the
she's
report.
not here. I'm sorry, she's not present, so.
Oh, she's
that's
not in.
why
Okay,
I
I'm
called
sorry.
you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the security committee did meet today with Denise Coates was on that call, and we talked about a couple things going on as far as where the heck did it go? I just had it. Supply needs and things like that. We have evaluations coming up, and and crazy to think about it, but people are leaving. Security guards are resigning. Crazy, right? And then you got people retiring. It's like with the same thing like with teachers, we're losing folks, but there is a demand for security guards, and it is a difficult thing to fill position in this district. And it was one of the things that we talked about, and why we're losing certain folks. Some of them are going home because they put their time in, and others are going for other reasons like pay and climate of district, things like that, regardless of the reasons. We talked about training and compliance, that we have certain officers now trained and certified as mandated reporters. I asked Mr. Ramundi for the receipts for a lot of these things that we discussed about. When I say receipts, I like to see things in writing. If I don't see it in writing, it's the same as if I had a phone call with Moses and talked about his sandals designer. I don't believe it. It didn't happen. So I'm hoping that we can see, if I request this stuff, I can see some documentation. We should at least have, I think you did tell me, Mr. Ramundi, that we do have the documentation that shows who's in compliance, who's been trained, and that we're up to date with state regulations on emergency drill completion. We have that stuff in writing, you said, right? We keep it on site?
So this is something that was discussed in your committee meeting with Mr. Ramundi, what you're
Yes.
requesting? So
Yeah,
so you'll report
I
back
asked
to
him,
us?
I remember him saying it on the call, but I wanted to ask him so that, the general public can hear it. We're dotting our I's and crossing T's.
So he didn't answer it in the committee meeting? You can't report it,
I'm
is what I'm
sorry?
asking. You can't report it? Can you report what was stated in the committee meeting?
Well, I just said that he mentioned that we have it in writing, and I'm asking him to double down on it now.
You want a record of it?
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
So you would like to receive a record of that?
I like it. Okay, this is becoming cumbersome. Just a simple question was, Mr. Ramundi stated during the call, we have the documentation that supports the statements that we made here and during our meeting today. I'm asking him to reaffirm that. I do want it on record, absolutely.
Okay, so we would like a copy of those records?
No, I'd like him to answer the question, yes or no, we documented.
That would be a question
the
for the
training,
superintendent to
compliance.
answer? We can, as board
What do you
members,
mean?
receive that information, or we can discuss it. But that's what I'm trying to understand. If Mr. Ramundi already in the committee answered the question, did he answer the
Okay.
question in committee?
Yeah, but I'm looking for clarity on that, a restatement of it now. This seems like this is a challenge.
Superintendent Smith, can you answer that question?
He will provide that information.
Say again?
He will provide that information.
He will?
Yes.
So
That's-
send an email. Okay, I'm on it. Thank you. That's all that I have for security.
Thank you very much, trustee. Safety and security, special education is trustee McDonough.
Yes, thank you. The Special Education Committee met on January 9th. We reviewed service provision. We're doing pretty well, still not at 100%. I don't think that we'll ever get there. We're short on speech. We're doing some telehealth. Concerns with charter school needs were raised. They have heavy speech needs. We're struggling to fill all of those. It's difficult to get services this time of year. There's not a lot of availability of highly qualified staff out there to attract to come to the district. We're short 6 psychologists right now. That's a bummer. The Medicaid consent process is going well. This helps us to claim Medicaid funds to offset some of the costs for related services. I think we've got over 1,000 claims so far. The compliance monitoring continues. About halfway through Schedule 1 items, those are particular items that we were cited for, so that's moving along nicely. They had a good meeting with Julie Elliott, who's the compliance monitor. Schedule 2 are more global in general stuff, and we're doing well with those as well. I don't know how long it'll take to be finished with that compliance monitoring. It's really at the discretion of the monitor. There was some training in December in special education on decision making with staff. We see an increase in referrals for pre-K, which I've noted before. This is going to be important as we go into budgeting and reconfiguration. It's going to impact our kindergarten enrollment, special education, as will transportation. That's a big cost that we've had to absorb. It went up really quite a bit dramatically this year, and it's going to be a challenge next year. We talked about extended school year. Still have to make decisions on what buildings we'll house for next summer. That's all I have.
Thank you, trustee McDonough. And technology is the last one with Dr. Trustee Maribel.
Yes. So as you know, this is a new committee this year. and Dr. Doggett and Mr. Ramirez also serve on the committee, as well as two other trustees, Dr. Middleton and Trustee Mitchell. We met on January the 13th, and as a basic organization kind of meeting, we talked about the district website and the usability of the district website. So they are looking at the district website to make it more user-friendly for our constituents and our parents and our staff. Also, we talked about our tech plans that have been submitted to New York State Department of Education. The tech plans that are currently on record, they are on the website. They are set to expire in 2025. However, the New York State Education Department has extended them to 2026. We also looked at the help desk. Help desk services each building. We have about 16 contractors through BOCES that helps to service our individual schools, as well as about 9 in-house employees that help to also service. The help desk team is currently being led by, and I'd like to thank Dr. Doggett for his ingenuity in helping to assign Oscar Davis to help to organize for efficiency and effectiveness of the tech teams and the techs that work for our building through BOCES. We have, they're looking at digitization and monetizing our different areas. They have reduced our help desk requests significantly since September. It has been reorganized and it is moving more efficiently, and all the old open items have been closed for the most part. I believe they're at, a 90% monthly rate of closing items on the help desk, which improved significantly from 50% previously. So thank you for that. Also, we're looking at systems of accountability, sustainability, and monitoring of our outside contractors, and also looking to establish standard operating procedures so that when the tide shifts, that we have documentation and evidence and information so that we can move it forward to the next team that actually works on it, so we're not reinventing the wheel each and every year. Also looking at storage, because we do have a lot of items that come in that we need to use in each building. We need to identify additional storage space for those items to be stored and secured properly. And I'd again like to thank the team, Mr. Ramirez, Dr. Doggett, and Mr. Davis for working diligently in order to make sure that we are moving forward with our technology.
Thank you. I have a question. In our education committee, we understood that everything will be electronic, the testing for our students. And I asked the question, does the district have enough bandwidth to actually accomplish this feat?
Yes, we do. We actually talked about the digitization of our testing and assessment. Start in January, we have some testing going on, and all of it is digitized. All of our assessments are being done electronically.
And that concludes our committee reports.
Oh, one more thing I
okay.
would like to say is, well, I'll save it for the next meeting.
No, go ahead. If it pertains to your committee, please do. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step
No.
on you.
It's just to ensure that we are moving in a positive direction. We are also identifying the areas in which technology supports our district, because a lot of people think that just technology just means computers and it just means that one specific item. But technology actually has a stream and a thread throughout each and every department in our district, and we're identifying what those are, and we're going to be placing that on the website so that everyone understands how technology is infused throughout our district and how we support it, and why the budget for technology is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes our committee.
Are we skipping the wellness?
W comes after T.
Okay, yes, sir. Sorry. Excuse me. It's on the next page.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Trustee.
No, it's
but
okay.
absolutely. Excuse me.
Is that the last one?
That would be you, Mitchell.
The Wellness Committee met last week, and we met with our food service provider. I don't remember, the day after New Year's Day, The second, buildings in the district. I got a lot of pings from clients. Sorry, parents that there was no milk. The kids came home didn't have any milk. I heard about it. A couple of people had told me it, and the food service provider said that in some whatever part of the country that the milk was coming from, there was a snowstorm. So that explains why the milk wasn't here. And really sidebar, big shouts to CSCA. Our people is working in CSCA. We love you. We appreciate y'all. Food service too. Food service really big up, big time. But we're still working to get what this district deserves. Okay, so we're working closely with our food service provider, and we're hoping that we can reach some resolutions on some things and see some measurable success that can, some data, some measurable success over the next 2 months. Their contract, I believe, with that food service company, our contract, I believe, we have a window. They should be, of course, their plan is to return for their next contract year. We have a lot of things to cover in the meantime. And at the end of the day, guys, listen, everybody that's listening, no one gets a free handout. All right. So we should all be working to give our babies the very best that this district can give. $4 million a year is a lot of money to spend for something that we're not getting what we deserve. That's all I got on wellness.
Okay, then that concludes our committee reports. Okay. Old business, there was a question, why do I have to suffer? I think it was the student. Why do I have to suffer the consequences because of what you want to do? I think that was a young lady who stood up today and asked the same question. The answer to that was that was a town hall meeting for anyone at the table to respond to. I, at the end of the meeting, went and addressed this student and her parent. So I did speak to them. I think we had limited amount of time during that town hall. A lot of people did not get the opportunity to have questions answered, but I think that the cabinet and superintendent did the best that they could. And that concludes old business.
So you're saying that you gave her the answer?
I spoke to the young lady who asked the question. I spoke to the young lady who asked the question that nobody replied to at the table, because I did invite people to come down and speak to the days, and I approached that parent with that young lady. Okay, so that was the end of old business, and there's human resources. We move on to our resolutions.
Can I have a motion, please, for 5.1, Human Resources 119A, certified?
Motion.
Second. Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 5.2, Human Resources 119B, classified?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.1, authorization to hire staff for a pre-kindergarten after-school program, January 27th through May 29th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
Question.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Yeah, just a quick question, really. I think this might be a budget committee question. So this is for the pre-K after school program. Where are we with our after school program for the district as a whole? Is it true that we don't have any after school program for the district as a whole, or am I misspeaking?
You should.
Well, we do have after school K to 8. We have the Power Hour. We have other after school programming based on grant funding, like the Smart Scholars. This program, the pre-K program, is a grant-funded program as well.
Okay. You said we have APH in the district? Yes? What
Yes,
building?
all of our K to 8 schools.
So I have an issue then because I know a kid that lives in my house who his principal told him just last week there's no APH this year.
What
He
grade?
goes to STEAM school.
What grade are you talking about?
He's in 11th grade. Is there like a cap on it?
Yes, we don't have it for 9th to 12th because the attendance was like 10% last year in all of our buildings. It was very poorly attended at high schools. So we do run the Saturday program, which was a little more successful.
Okay, and the teachers who signed contracts to do the APH, how was that? How was it handled? Because um, how did that go? If they signed a contract to do APH for the school, is it by month to month? How does that work? Are they still were they paid like they were supposed to? Is that a question I should send an email about? Let me know.
So staff are paid based on resolutions and the time frames that's in the resolution that is approved by the board.
I like that. Thank you.
Are the sped ed included in those programs, K-8, or no?
Special ed students are included, but it's difficult because they usually take busing and they don't usually stay for the programs, but they're invited. It's just there's no way for them to get home afterwards.
So basically, none of them really attend?
Some do attend. Some attend, but many of them do not for that reason.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.2, authorization to hire staff to conduct a pre-K after-school and Saturday family workshop?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Question, is this through a grant?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.3, authorization to hire extended learning program evaluators for the 2024-2025 school year?
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All
Quick
in-
question. This is it in the? I don't see it in the backup. I'm sorry. Can we just confirm what grades are this covering again?
All grades. All grades.
Okay. Okay, and I see it's been changed to 5,000. All right, thank you. I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.4, authorization to amend hourly rate for the lifeguards for their Mount Vernon Aquatic Facility during the spring 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Question. I'm sorry. Question. We have. I see. How do we determine who? Like, if these are all school district employees already. They're basically doing this as a secondary thing to do, right? For as the instructors, the lifeguards, right? Is that what this is?
That some of them aren't.
Couldn't hear that.
Some of the lifeguards aren't district employees.
So most of them are pretty much outside. So
Yes.
So the only reason why we see administrators is because why again is because I see administrators and substitutes on here too, of which are district employees. I'm trying to understand how are they on this resolution?
This resolution was passed, I believe, in December. It's just being amended because of the hourly minimum wage went up from $16 to $16.50. So, and to order to pay them, we had to amend the resolution. So that's the only thing that's
That's fine.
impacted by this resolution. Everything else remains the
That's
same.
fine. That's fine. Same question though. Well, why are these administrators on this resolution? Because if I don't remember if I asked the question last time, I got bad memory.
We have to have an administrator in the building over the program. And then if that administrator is out, we have a substitute to replace them.
So these administrators can be from any building, but they're at the building. They're at the high school, or they're at the building where the pool is that they're going to lifeguard at. Is that what it is?
Yes. Dr. Pierce is the administrator of the program. If he's out, these are the two substitutes that are available to supervise this program.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. As well as the aquatic advisors as well. We have substitutes for every position.
Sounds good. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. We have a motion for 6.5, authorization to enter into an agreement with K-12 Insight LLC for the 2024-2025 DTSDE surveys. I need a motion.
Motion.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Question. I just would like for Dr. Dorkett, you recommended this and submitted it. I'm sorry. I keep getting out this mic. I would like Dr. Dorkett, if you could just give us a little bit more of an explanation and clarity in reference to something I think maybe could have been done before, but is now. So can you just kind of shed a little more light on it?
Yes, the DTSD survey, basically the district has to conduct a comprehensive needs assessment every 3 years. This is done to ensure that local program decision-making, which is us, is data and needs-driven and provides equitable support for programs and students. The district and schools use this data to develop goals, address gaps in the school's SEPs and the district comprehensive improvement plan to improve outcomes and measure progress. This is usually has come out of the Office of School Improvement. It's a series of 3 surveys for staff, parents, and students. The K Insights prepares the entire survey. They do all the legwork for this. We just send it out, collect those results, send them back to the schools, use it as a needs assessment. We also take these results and put it as part of the consolidation app, which gets submitted to the state as part of grants.
Was this something that was an RFP, or how did we find this particular company?
I can't answer that.
They were
I
ready?
don't have the history, but we've been doing it.
They've been in the
Yes,
district.
it's
and
been
the
they've
school
been in the
district?
district
Okay.
for some years now.
Does this have anything to do with compliance, part of the compliance report? Would this
The
impact?
compliance for Judy Elliott?
Yes, sir.
No, this is the compliance for the consolidation app under grants.
Okay, so this is under grants? This
Yes.
is- Okay, all right, thank you.
I have a question.
You're welcome.
I do too.
So this is for the 24-25 school year, correct?
Yes, it has to be done this year in order to do the planning for 25-26.
Right. So you're going to complete these surveys this spring. Is that right?
K Insights create the surveys. We send them information, they create it, and this will be done in a few weeks.
So they already created the surveys.
Not yet until this is passed.
Okay. And they did this for us 3 years ago.
They've done this for us 3 years ago, each year, I would say since 2015, 2016.
Okay. Can we see those surveys? I'd like to see the results of those because I guess I'm just curious about if this is fairly expensive. This contract is $21,600. I'm guessing it should be amended because it's got site level reports for 16, which I assume corresponds to 16 schools, but we're taking 3 offline, so I don't know why we would be doing surveys for 3 schools that are coming offline unless it's retrospective. Is that what it is? It's a retrospective assessment?
No, it's just a survey that we still need the results from those parents in order to plan effectively. So
okay.
there's a district one, and then there's one for each school.
Right. So it sounds great, the idea of data-driven decision-making, gap reduction, but I feel like we're sitting here and there's a massive gap still between the impression the community has of the district, right? So I feel like I'd like to see the results of those surveys to see what they said and how we took that information and use it to reduce the gap in understanding and improve transparency in the district. So this is $21,000. I have high expectations for four surveys. That's $21,000. I checked out K through 12. You know, it's fine that they're using the Cytolytics stuff, which is fine. But it's to design 4 surveys for $21,000. You know, I want to see those surveys. That's why I was sort of saying, why don't we just slow this down a little bit? If they're so great, I want to see those surveys. I want to analyze those surveys myself. I want to understand how that information is being used to improve the reputation of the school district and the community. So that's all I'm saying. Thanks.
We'll get that
I do have
information
one
to you.
question. Is there no one that's in our cabinet now that can provide these same services and logistics? I'm looking at the how much you're paying out in salaries. I'd like to know who would normally. What is it? Is this brand new endeavor that we need this information? And if it's not who was
brand new.
handling it before, and why can't we do this in house?
This is not brand new. It's been, as Dr. Doggett said, it's been implemented since about 2015, 2016, and it's a survey that is required for the grants we receive.
So this is under the grants? Is it under
consolidated.
grants?
Under
the grants,
So,
yes.
so it's grant money that pays for this?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
So my question was, is this the contractor that was identified in the grant? Is that why we're actually using this specific company? And number 2, I had the same question as Dr. McDonough. When will we receive, number 1, what they look like, what the surveys look like, and when will we receive the results?
We probably receive the results in a few months or probably by March, hopefully, if we get it passed, because we need this information to pass to the schools so they can review it, disaggregate the data, and use that information to plan the SCEPs. Once they plan the SCEPs, we collect the SCEPs, which is the School Comprehensive Educational Plans. We look at that from the district level. We take all the information and we create the DSIP. So we'll have some strict timelines this year to make sure this work is done before June, because if we have to do the DSIP in July, it's going to be double the cost.
So I think, if I'm not, I'm asking, when you get this information previously, historically, there is a record of it, right? It's
Yes,
shared
there is a
with the
record of it.
district,
Yes, it's shared with the district.
which informs your policies and procedures.
Yes.
So it's not just something you do and we never see it again.
Correct.
So I think that we would
Correct.
like to just have some historical reference in the future on this. to
So-
understand.
Would you like to see previous surveys? Because I have in possession of Rebecca Turner's surveys. I can get that to you right now. But I don't have the district ones. I will have to speak to Sarita and the people in the department before me for the district results, because it's district and school based.
Yeah, are they publicized? Have they been publicized on our website, or
They may have
where do
been,
we
the results may have been put up on the website. Yes, they have been put up on the website. And also, there was a way for parents to take this survey at one year on the website.
My,
So
yeah, my, because I think I've seen them on the website. My question is, how did we identify this company again? And are they identified specifically in the grant? Because I know previously we've used certain agencies because they were specifically identified. And my question is, were they specifically identified, or did we select them based on some other criteria?
I can't answer that question. I wasn't there in the inception of it. However, I know that we've been using it. From my understanding, we get to select how we do it. So it's basically, this is what you should do. Now, how we do it and what we select is up to us. So they've been consistent and our staff been used to it. This is the survey that we always used. And I've used that survey as a principal to create the SCP, and also as assistant superintendent, we didn't meet our goals specifically on our DSIP because we didn't have a survey. So now that we have this needs assessment, we should reach our goal, because we'll take some of those questions, use those as goals, and go back to see if we made the goals or not. And we didn't do that last year.
And I think we're just asking because I know Dr. McDonough and I are new to the board, so we don't have the historical perspective that some others may have. So just for clarification.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
That was, I think, Justin.
Mitchell. Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.6, authorization to revise mentors in the Mount Vernon City School District Mentor Program for new teachers?
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.7, approval for merge athletic activities with Tuckahoe High School 2024 through 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Yes, I've asked this every year. What is the benefit of bringing students from outside our district to be part of the sports team? Can somebody please share? Do we have, is it a, oh, you're gonna, Dr. Doggett? Or?
Yes, to have a complete team, there's not enough members to create a complete team. So for Tuckahoe, so they come to our facility. We don't pay for anything, that they're bussed over here through Tuckahoe to merge with our team to create a full tennis team, and also helps with practice. There's enough players to actually practice and have a complete team. And if they try for our team and make our team, they're on our team. So the only expense would be uniforms, which we already have.
Whose expense?
The district has uniforms already. So we have enough uniforms.
Our uniforms, and they look like our students.
Yes.
So, question. So, just like when, do we receive any kind of benefit? Like, do we charge Tuckahoe for allowing them to use our facilities and to join us? Or if we don't, should we, could we?
It's my understanding that they don't have to pay. It's something that, a courtesy that we allowed them. Is your question that that's something that you would like to see happen?
Well, do they provide us with the same courtesy? No. 'Cause we can't even walk on the track. I'm sorry. Question. That's a question.
I would say we take the high road, you know.
Didn't we do
We,
this
we,
with-
we model what we'd like to see in other communities.
But this has been happening. This team, this is not the first year. This has been always, this is ongoing.
I understand it is
so,
I'm sorry.
So if they join, if they only have 2 team members on their team and they want to join the neighboring schools, which would be the closest one is Mount Vernon, and Mount Vernon has a team, this always has been the practice that they come and join Mount Vernon team.
I'm well aware of the practice, and I'm just saying when we're in a situation where we're in fiscal distress, and sometimes, you know, you have to reevaluate what has been done in the past in order to ensure that the monies that we are trying to preserve in our district are preserved for our students. And just a question, do we receive the same courtesy in other districts, or do we have to pay when we go or when we do things in other districts? And if we do, then my question is, are we looking at whether or not there's a the cost benefit analysis of them allowing their students to come without any cost to the district?
I don't think we go to other districts. I know Tuckahoe's been for us for the girls volleyball team. Swimming, I believe it was, somebody joined us for a swimming team. It's Bronxville. I think because if they don't have enough children to make up a team, they just join us, and it's really not costing us anything except that we now have a full team.
I'm just saying, when there's tuition for other districts, when we send our students, if there's a test, whatever that is, it's a question. I think it's something that's worth researching. That's all.
Do we have access to, say, Tuckahoe's tennis courts or somebody's lacrosse field or something like that? Do we have access, like that time, like a give-take type of thing? Because, yeah, we have been doing this thing where we're allowing other districts to come in and be a part of our different sporting activities. I'm just looking for the checks and balances of it. Do we have the opportunities to use those school districts' grounds?
I would have to.
I'm sure our tennis court is much better than theirs.
I would have to speak to Coach Semino to find out if we made any requests and they were denied from any other
But
neighboring
I don't
communities.
Just a curiosity as far as like it's like mutual aid. I would
can
like
ask.
to understand how it goes. When we didn't have a swimming pool, did our kids go over to a neighboring community? And so I would like an answer, please, for our athletic director or the superintendent, if we could just find out that information.
Sure.
I'm sorry, no, this is a Board of Education meeting. I apologize, but you cannot just interrupt the business. No. Well, no, sir, sorry. Go ahead.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain?
I abstain.
That was
Trustee, Carroll.
Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.8, authorization to approve Mount Vernon High School senior trip to Virginia Beach, Virginia?
Did it flush?
Motion.
Take this downstairs, trade in the refrigerator.
Second.
Please, and turn off all the lights. You need to wash
Trustee,
your hands.
Trustee White, can you mute we're taking a vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. We can hear you now. Trustee.
Wash the hands. You better do it.
All in favor?
I have a question.
Aye.
Oh, questions, concerns, discussion.
What's the number of students for our senior class, and why are there only 50 students being requested for the senior trip?
Dr. Doggett?
I'll try to answer as best I can. This is what the principal had submitted to me. I guess I would say, these are the students that are interested in going on the trip. However, in order for them to go, since it's overnight and out of state, it has to go before the board 2 to 3 months. So as far as why there's so many students or so less students, I can't answer that question. That would have to come from the principal.
I just want to make sure that none of our students are being excluded. And how are they identified?
It's an $800 trip, so many students go because they can't afford it.
And this is a senior trip?
Yeah, it's a senior trip.
Who chooses a senior trip? I'm just curious. How are senior trips chosen, Dr. Smith?
So historically, senior classes have gone to Florida, to Virginia, even before I became a senior. They've made these various trips, and it's usually discussed in a discussion with the advisor and the students, and that's how they come up with where they're going.
The reason why I'm asking is I have served as a senior class advisor several times, and usually they select trips that are open so that most students will be able to enjoy them. Are these students just from one building, one school? I just want to make sure that all students have access to senior class trips.
So this is Mount Vernon High School solely. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Mount Vernon High School.
How many in that senior class? You know? How many students it is? I know.
Can you check the Infinite Campus?
Elizabeth, you know? I know.
That was my first question.
Mr. Formosa will have that response for you.
All in favor?
And, I have another question. So it says rate $100. So you're saying it's an $800 trip?
You said 800.
Are we subsidizing this at $100? Or is this no cost to the district? I just need to understand what this is.
For my school, it was going to be an $800 trip for 4 days and 3 nights. But that was my school personally. I don't know about the other high schools.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
I like an answer to the question I asked.
On the resolution, it says there is no cost to the district, so this is probably fully funded by the senior class.
I mean, they always say there's no cost to the district. I mean, there are costs associated, right?
Are we paying for transportation?
So are we paying for anything?
If you go down to page 5 on that, you'll see the pricing per person. If you want to stay in a single room,
It-
a double room, a triple room.
It says there is no cost to the district. So if they fundraise, they say chaperone
263.
cost is 0. One chaperone for 10 students.
263. 263. Yeah, hold on.
I just want to make sure this is presented
I just
correctly.
want to address the enrollment in the district in general, because I think it's important everyone. Our enrollment goes up and down almost, I don't want to say daily, but pretty close. People come and go in the district. So the 263 was the enrollment number we pulled as of October. It could be 267 right now, but it's still in the 260s. But I don't want people to get hung up on the number, because if we want the exact number today, we would have to pull the exact number today from our database, because it will be different in a week.
I think the resolution is about a senior class trip. I understand that these trips usually come before the board. Is this normal practice? Yes. By the board, by the board. Is there, can you expand upon that, just for our own curiosity? You gotta push, oh, there it goes.
Any trip that's out of state and overnight has to be approved 2 to 3 months prior to the actual trip. And then sometimes what happens is they have to lock in a specific rate and it has to be approved so they can start doing the legwork.
Okay, thank you. That's the last of my question.
So is it possible that these numbers could increase? The number of students attending, or decrease as well, but
I would assume it probably can increase or decrease if people don't go or someone decides to go later.
so this is basically for contractual purposes to say that they can go on the trip? Would that be a fair?
Yes, that we approve a trip for them to go to Virginia and stay overnight. That's what we're approving.
Okay. I'm just looking at the paperwork that's attached, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 6.9, approval for varsity and JV cheerleading team to travel to Orlando, Florida to compete in their nationals?
Motion.
Can I have a second? Second. Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 7.1, approval of pupil personnel services memorandum number 13 dated January 21st, 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions? All in favor?
Real quick question, just so I'm following it. I see these, we see these a lot sometimes. These are really just us using outside sources. We're paying outside entities to provide these special needs services, these special education services. Is that what this is? Just for my.
Yes, it is. For our students to go out of district, these are the programs in which they go to. We have other schools as well, but as they come up for payment, we pay. This is how we pay them.
And are these because we don't have the resources to provide the services ourselves, or the services they need are beyond especially tailored? Well, what's the real reason? Why do we have to pay other people? It's because these parents have decided they're going to go out of district. What is it?
When we can't meet the needs of students in district, we send them out of district.
Okay. Okay, it was 148,000. So yeah, I'm going to ask the question, but thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 8.1, approve general funds transfer / purchase order increase dated January 14, 2025? Motion.
Second.
Questions, concerns, discussions?
Question, is this in anticipation or do we already know that we're going to need additional funding for roofing services? Dr. Smith?
We already know we're going to need it. So this is to increase the purchase order.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm looking. I'm looking at the documentation. Which building is this for again?
Multiple buildings.
So $100,000 for multiple buildings roofing repairs, correct? Couldn't hear that.
Yes. No,
Okay.
I need to see the resolution there.
Say it again.
Excuse me one second. Let me look at this resolution. I want to make sure I answer correctly. No, the $100,000 is material and supplies. It's a transfer from one of my operating lines to another operating line. And then there's a
Got it.
roofing repair purchase order request increase.
455,000 for 125, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm just trying to. It would be good if we could know what buildings from going forward. Please add the buildings that are being affected so that we know where to expect those repairs. I will say that I've seen the BCS report, the roof repairs, $100,000. Maybe we'll just paint a space. I don't know how much that's getting done, but can we please have the buildings that are this money's being used on as part of the backup from going forward? Appreciate that.
So I will do and grant the request within my means. However, a lot of this is anticipated, where we moved an additional amount of money over it to increase that purchase order so we can conduct additional repairs. So these repairs are estimated. Now I'm going to go through and decide which the highest priorities are and address them accordingly. I can show you invoices as backups if you'd like.
So, I mean, so is that you'll try to do it if you can, or how does that, I'm sorry, I just missed it. That was a lot of extra things. Are you able to do it or you're not able to do it?
I'm able to do it. Right now, there's been no money expensed. If we want to conduct more roofing repairs, I need to increase the purchase order so the vendor knows that there's money in their purchase order so they'll perform the services. So right now, if I get a bill for $10,000 of that 30 will go towards paying a roof. If I don't do any more roof repairs, then the money sits there in their purchase order.
Okay, yeah, because I can see it's from Precision Roofing. I just would like it if they could put somebody, I just would like to know what business is going towards. I sleep better at night. Thank you.
I can do that.
Okay, question, Dr. Smith. I see the increased request is for 30,000, but it looks like it's 100,000. So, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the increase of a purchase order is for 30,000 because it's coming out of that same budget code. So there's no transfer of funds. It's just I would like to increase that purchase order request so we could perform more work throughout the district. The $100,000 budget transfer is when we're transferring from one budget code to another budget code. So they're two different transactions.
Oh, thanks for the clarification. So the first one transaction is to increase the budget and to increase the purchase order, right? The other one is for anticipated repairs. I guess I'm back to my first question.
One is to increase the purchase order for anticipated roof repairs, and the other is to transfer $100,000 into the materials and supplies line so we can purchase more materials and supplies for the district.
For roof repairs or for something else?
For something else. The roof repair line already has the money in the budget. It's just I didn't allocate and encumber all those funds into that purchase order because we weren't sure if we were going to use them all or not. So we've exhausted the initial purchase order. There's enough money in the code, so now we have to increase that purchase order to cover any additional repairs.
Okay, you're just looking for more clarity because it just wasn't clear on the request. So just if we can just identify that in the future, so we're very clear on which line goes where.
Sure.
Dr. Smith,
I'm
thank you.
actually I'm a little foggy on why the purchase order is 125. Are you telling me that we have how much do we have already in place? 100 you're asking for $100,000 increase. Are you telling me that we only have 100,000 in place budgeted for this repair? and you're asking for, I don't understand, I'm looking at the documentation, it says the original purchase order was 125, and you're requesting, the requested increase is 30,000 on the documentation, but you're asking for a funds transfer of 100. So what am I missing about the additional 65 grand?
So these forms are confusing, so I understand the confusion. The initial purchase order for the roofing was for 125,000. The entire roofing budget code was 165,000. I did not encumber the full 165,000. I left it in that budget code. I only encumbered 125,000 to anticipate repairs throughout the district. As we worked through that purchase order, the remaining balance decreased. So there was an additional lump sum of money in there. I'd like to encumber more of that money from that budget line into that purchase order to perform more repairs. That's one item separate. The sheet above it is a budget transfer. So the first one is a purchase order increase. There's no budget transfer because the funds are already in that budget. It's just a purchase order increase from the existing budget. The line of the form above it where there's a $100,000 budget transfer, that's where I'm taking lots of money from two separate budget codes within the operating line, moving it to a materials and supplies budget code in order to purchase more materials and supplies throughout the district.
Okay, so
I think we need to work on that request increase form. It shouldn't be confusing anymore. We need to let's just restructure it and make it so it's nice and clear.
Right.
Like if, for instance, we're moving contracted service and fire prevention over to B&G materials, but you're saying we're using it for repairs. Is it going to be for repairs related to fire safety? I mean, fire prevention? Because in technical terms, let's reallocate money from one ledger account to another ledger account that kind of makes sense when we look at it on paper. But I know there's more to it.
there just seems to just be a disconnect from the paperwork that's there versus the resolution, because the second item on the resolution is speaking to authorization to make budget transfers up to $100,000. So without, can you explain? 'Cause it is confusing because it doesn't match.
Right.
So looking at, to address your fire safety repairs, I'm requesting to take 50,000 from the fire safety line and 50,000 from, I think it was the contracted services line, move it over to the materials and supplies line. So that page shows what money is coming from what code and where it's going. The second one is the purchase order increase, which shows what the purchase order is, how much money is in that line, what the original purchase order was, what the increase would be now. They are a little bit confusing, but that's the paperwork that we have as the district. If, again, I don't know.
For me,
how
it's not
else to
about the
explain-
paperwork. It's about
explain
the
it.
actual narrative that speaks to the paperwork that's attached, right? So the narrative, to me, there seems to be a disconnect between the narrative, or maybe it's just not fully clear. There's not clarity in the narrative language, not for me anyway. Because if you look at one, right, it speaks to what we've already authorized the acting superintendent to spend, right? Then the second one is asking for us to allow it to go to $100,000, and then the third one says that there'll be no non-contingent, no budget transfers to non-contingent items, and then the fourth one asks for the purchase order increase, which doesn't specify the amount of the 30. So it's just confusing. There's a disconnect there in terms of the narrative, so that we can understand what's actually going on.
No, I know what you're saying. I could kind of explain why this would be this way. It's to explain the whole process. So to let a board member know that transfers couldn't be up to $10,000, then to let the board member know any transfers up to this amount you would have to approve, and then to also let board members know they cannot go into contingent like equipment. So some of it is just a clarification in general of the process. So I know what you're meaning. You're reading this as for this specific case, but it looks like the verbiage we usually use is to actually explain so that member knows these are the rules around budget transfers.
Right, and it's helpful to explain the rules, but then after you explain the rules, if you're gonna explain what you're trying to do.
No, I understand.
Right,
So I'm
okay.
thinking the top. I understand. I
Thank
think we
you.
could
Thank
just
you.
switch it around.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain?
I'm going to abstain on this one.
Motion carries. Can I have a motion for 9.1, the second reading, revision of policy 3170, parent involvement policy?
Motion.
I need a
Second.
second.
Do we get to ask questions before or after the second reading? Is it after? I can't remember.
Questions, concerns, discussions, this is just to authorize the reading.
Right.
I
We
motion.
have questions on the reading. I want to ask my question publicly. Is it after the reading or before?
It would be, I guess, after you read it.
Either
Okay,
way,
I was
Yeah,
after the
either-
reason.
either way, we'll have to have Dr. Doggett come in because his committee did the survey.
Not on this. Not on this. I'm just talking in general. When we have first, second, and third readings of policy revisions,
Oh.
I just want to make sure I have my timing right when I'm able to ask a question. That's all. Not this one.
So the way I see it is that any policy goes to the policy committee. Policy committee drafts whatever the document is. Policy committee presents to the board as to what they drafted. And at any time during executive session or even now, you can ask your questions as to it. You can always ask questions. I don't think there's any real limitation as to when, except for after it's voted. Then you can still ask the questions, but it's already voted on. Okay?
Okay.
Can I have who second, please, for this, for the reading?
I give the second, I think.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Okay. Motion carries for the second reading. Mr. Russell?
Anybody want to take any bathroom breaks before we start? No? We're good? Okay. All right, so let's start. The Mount Vernon Board of Education believes that the positive parent and family engagement is essential to the student achievement and thus encourage such involvement in school educational planning and operations. The Mount Vernon Board of Education also believes the ongoing parental engagement is a responsibility that is shared by both the school and the family during the entire period the child spends in the school. Parents and family engagement may take place either in the classroom or during extracurricular activities. However, the board also encourages parents and family engagement at home. Example, plan home, reading time, informal learning activities, and/or homework contracts between parents and children. The board directs the superintendent of schools to develop a homeschool communications program to encourage all forms of parent and family engagement. Title I Parent and Family Engagement Policy. Consistent with the Parent and Family Engagement Goals of Title I, Part A of the Federal Every Student Succeed Act, ESSA, the Board of Education charges the school district staff and parents with the development, implementation, and regular evaluation of district-wide and individual school parent engagement program that encourages and supports participation of parents and family members of students eligible for Title I services in all aspects of their children's education. Further, as required by federal law, the Board of Education will ensure that all its schools receiving Title I Part A funds develop and implement school-level parent and family engagement protocols. This process seeks to strengthen the partnership among parents and caregivers, the community, staff, school, the superintendent, and the board by providing for parent and family involvement on multiple levels throughout the district. This partnership will be further strengthened by expanding learning opportunities that help individual parents support their children at home. Such learning opportunities shall be offered at, but not limited to, the Mount Vernon City School District Parent-Teacher Association Council, school-based and community-based parent/family engagement teams led by the Mount Vernon City School District Parent Liaison, the Special Education Parent Advocacy Council, the Bilingual and English as a New Language Parent Advisory Council, and other parent groups. This policy outlines areas in which parent families can participate in local, school, and district-wide matters and is supplemental to the rights of parents guaranteed by the Board of Education policy and states and federal law. This policy in no way limits an individual parent's right to make his or her feelings known at any level in the district on any topic of concern, nor does it prevent the district from involving individual parents in appropriate situations. The Mount Vernon Board of Education defined parents and family engagement as the participation of parents in regular, two-way, and meaningful communications involving students' academic learning and other school activities, including ensuring the parent and the family members play an integral role in assisting their children's learning, that parents and family members are engaged to be actively involved in their children's learning, that parents and family members are full partners in their children's education and are included as appropriate in decision-making and on committees to assist in the education of their child. The carrying out of other activities such as those described in ESSA Section 1116. The federal definition of the term parents refers to a natural parent, legal guardian, or other persons in parental relationships, such as grandparent or step-parent with whom the child lives, or a person who's legally responsible for the child's welfare. District and school level Title I ESSA Parents and Family Engagement Programs, activities and procedures will provide full opportunities for participation of parents with limited English proficiency, parents with disabilities, and parents of migratory children, including providing information in school reports required under the law in a format and, to the extent practicable, in a language parents understand. As further required by federal law, parents and family members of students eligible for Title I services will be provided an opportunity to participate in the development of the district's Title I plan and to submit comments regarding any aspect of the plan that is not satisfactory to them. The comments will be forwarded with the plan to the New York State Education Department. Additionally, parents and family members of students that attend a school that fails to make adequate yearly progress for 2 consecutive years and is identified as a school in need of improvement will be provided the opportunity to participate in the process of developing a school improvement plan. Parent and family participation in development of district-wide Title I plan. The board, along with the superintendent of schools and other appropriate district staff, will undertake the following actions to ensure parent and family involvement in the development of the district-wide parent and family engagement plan. Meetings and parent workshops will be held during flexible times and at accessible locations within the district to provide greater access. The district will communicate with its family stakeholders via phone, written notices, mail, email, and or by posting on the district website and or social media periodically throughout the year. Parents and family members will be offered opportunities to participate in various committees at the school and district-wide. The district shall work in partnership with Mount Vernon PTA. The family will be surveyed at least yearly to determine the level of satisfaction with parents and family engagement activities. The district will develop both appropriate collaboration and roles with community-based organizations and businesses to support parents and family activities. The district will conduct the annual district-wide Title I parent meeting. Development of school-level parent and family engagement plans. The superintendent of schools or other designated personnel will ensure that all district schools receiving federal financial assistance under the Title I Part A are provided technical assistance and or other support necessary to assist them in planning and implementing effective parent and family engagement programs and activities that improve students' achievement and school performance. Individual schools are encouraged to develop and maintain programs and activities to meet the needs of their parents and family. As appropriate to meet individual local needs, the superintendent of schools or designated personnel will offer parents and family workshops on literacy and math strategies for parents, invite parents and families to celebrations and family activities, provide consistent and accurate translated documents, offer workshops by E&L staff on how to support first and second language development in the home, offer programs, activities, and procedures that will assist in training and supporting parents and families to increase engagement. Each Title I school, in consultation with the parent and family members of participating children, shall adopt the district-wide policy as its school-level policy or develop its own school-level policy in compliance with the requirements of ESSA. Building capacity for parents and family engagement. To build parent capacity for strong parent and family engagement to improve their child's academic achievement, the district and its Title I Part A school will, at a minimum, 1. Assist parents in understanding such topics as the state's academic content and student achievement standards, state and local academic assessments, Title I requirements, how to monitor their children's progress, and how to work with educators to improve the achievement of their child. To achieve this objective, the district and its Title I school will offer parents and family workshops at both the school level and district-wide, provide parents with biannual progress reports from their child's Title I support teachers. When requested and or if necessary, offer parent-teachers phone conferences in addition to regular parent-teacher conferences. Provide informational materials and or resources to assist parents in playing a role in their child's learning. Offer parents and family members training on how to access the parent portal, which allows them to view report cards in their native language. Utilize district websites. Provide materials and training to help parents and family members work to improve the child's academic achievement. To achieve their objective, the district and or its Title I schools will, 1, offer parents and family workshops at both the school level and district-wide. 2, assist parents and family members in supporting the instructional practices used in the school at home, particularly in the areas of math and literacy. Forge community partnerships that will help support the school-home connection. Encourage parents and families to participate in library programs and to assess books, articles, and other media to the extent and enrich district core curriculum in literacy as well as the other content areas including math, social studies, and science. Post resources on district website and or social media as well as disseminate resources to parent, families, school principals, and Mount Vernon PTA Council, Parent Teacher Association, Parent Teacher Student Association. Educate teachers, student services personnel, principals, and other staff in understanding the value and utility of a parent's contributions on how to reach out to, communicate with, work with parents and family members as equal partners, implement and coordinate parents and family programs, building relationships between parents and family and the school, encouraging parents and families to utilize the public library system. To achieve this objective, the district and its Title I schools will work closely with parents and family members through a variety of means to provide support and assistance related to students' academic and development progress. Ensure that information related to school and parents-related programs, meetings, and other activities is sent to the parents and family of children participating in Title I programs in an understandable and uniform format, including alternative formats upon request and to the extent practicable in the language that the parents can understand. Provide such other resources support for parents and family engagement activities in accordance with this policy as parents may request. The district shall reserve 1% of its Title I allocation for the purpose of promoting parent and family engagement. Not less than 95% of the 1% reserved shall be directly distributed to Title I schools. Coordination of parents and family engagement strategies. The district shall, to the extent feasible and appropriate, coordinate and integrate strategies adopted to comply with Title I. Part A, parent and family engagement requirements with early childhood programs currently with the district. The district will coordinate and share early literacy practices with preschool partners such as Head Start, Reading First, Early Reading First, Even Start, Parents as Teachers, Home Instruction Program for preschool youngsters and or state appropriate preschool programs. The district will do this by offering parent workshop at the school level and district-wide on topics such as literacy and math based on community needs, offering family engagement workshops on child development, mental health care, and stress management, and/or building and strengthening relationships among early childhood programs within the district and parents and the public library system. Review of district-wide parent and family engagement policy. The board, along with its superintendent of schools and other appropriate staff, will conduct, with the involvement of parents and families, an annual evaluation of content and effectiveness of this parent and a family engagement policy in improving the academic quality of Title I schools. This review shall include identifying barriers to greater participation by parents and families in activities under this policy, assessing the needs of parents and family members to assist in their child's learning, and determining strategies that will support successful school and family interaction. To facilitate this review, the district will annually monitor through surveys and feedbacks, parent and family participation at school events, the effectiveness of district Title I parents and family engagement policy. The survey shall be coordinated by the Office of School Improvement. The findings of surveys shall be reviewed and evaluated by the district and will be used to design evidence-based strategies for the more effective parent and family engagement. Following the review, and if necessary, the policy shall be revised. So that is the second reading of the parent involvement policy, number 3170.
Thank you. Sorry.
Can I have a motion for 9.2, the second reading of policy 7300.60, amendment to the Code of Conduct, student searches and interrogations?
Motion.
Have it.
Second.
Second.
Any questions, concerns, or discussions?
I'm
I got
still
a question,
concerned.
actually. These policies, the PTA, is the PTA council involved in these policy discussions, Dr. Smith? Are you having sit downs? Who are we having sit downs with so that everybody has a collaborative voice at the table? We should be working in circles, not silos. Who are you speaking to, Dr. Smith? You're talking to at least the PTA council. Is that happening?
Dr. Doggett will answer the question regarding this policy because it was his committee.
I'm sorry. That question is not niche to just this policy. It's a general question. I'm sorry. I wasn't clear. My fault.
General or this one? This one? Well, the parent engagement policy, I sat on that policy that meeting back in October. So whoever
Sorry,
was on,
I got too much voices in the background. What's going on?
it was just my voice. Is that okay? It might be Trustee White. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, Trustee White, I can't. Your mic is not muted.
Yes, so whoever was on a parent engagement policy at the time, this was already in motion prior to my arrival to that committee. So once I sat on that committee, whatever committee members were there, we reviewed the process, we made the edits, and then we forwarded that process, the policy to Mr. Russell.
So we won't bother to update that. I think, why are we not updating that to include more people since you
It is
came
that-
on board? Shouldn't we have?
That is an updated policy. We did update it with the members there.
With the members there.
Yes.
Who are those members, mind you? Can I ask? I don't know who those members are. Not just members of the board. It shouldn't be just members of the board. It should be members of other members of the district, and it should be community on this, right?
Yes, there's community members on there. It's not just employees of the district. There's members of the community on that community.
Do we have any split breakup of who's on that committee that's involved in these, that's listening?
As
and knowing
far
about
as
these
the
policies?
inception of the committee, I walked in October, so the committee was already established prior to my arrival. So during that meeting, I asked what was previously occurring, and they said they were in the process of reviewing the parent engagement policy. So we continued that because we knew it had to be revised by a specific time so we could enter it into the consolidation app for our grants. So this policy has to be done in a specific time order. So we made sure we made the revisions, corrections, and sent them out to the policy committee. So now how the members arrived on that policy prior to my arrival, I do not know. If it was a voluntary sign up, if there's PTA members on there, I would have to look at the attendance to see what members were on there.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. My question really is about how do we get a list to know who's on that policy committee that's not board. I want to see who's on it. I want to know. We need to be making sure that everybody's in the room for these conversations. And if we haven't been doing it right before now, what a great time. Is there a way to get a list of the names? That's all. That's all
Yes,
my
yes,
question.
we can. Yes, I know you're asking me a question. Yes, we can get you the names of the members of the committee.
You said you can? Yes. I'm sorry, because it's breaking up. You
Yes,
Say yes. You
yes.
Give me the list. Okay. I'll send you an email request or what?
No, we'll get it to you.
Okay.
You can, but I'll
No,
make.
no, trustee, he will get it to you. You've requested it, and they'll follow up. You don't need to send an email.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Can I have all in favor for second reading of policy 7300? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Oppose? Abstain?
Aye.
Motion carries for the second reading. Mr. Russell?
So this is the amendment to the Code of Conduct, 7300.60, student searches and interrogations. This is the second reading. The Board of Education is committed to ensuring an atmosphere on school property and school functions that is safe and orderly. To achieve this kind of environment, any school official authorized to impose a disciplinary consequence on students may question the student about an alleged violation of law or the district code of conduct. Students are not entitled to any Miranda-type warnings before being questioned by school officials, nor are school officials required to contact students' parents and/or guardians before questioning the student. However, school officials will tell all parents why they are being questioned. Physical/pat-down searches. The board authorized the superintendent of school or their designee, building principals or their designee, assistant principals, school nurse, district security officials to conduct searches of students and their belongings. Before searching a student, the authorized school official must inquire about the student's possession of physical evidence which violates the district code of conduct. Such search may generally only be performed when the authorized school official has reasonable suspicion to believe that the search will yield evidence of a violation of law or the district code of conduct. Reasonable suspicion is defined as follows. 1. Metal detector alert or X-ray machines. A metal detector alert alerts the superintendent of school or their designee, building principal or their designee, assistant principal, the school nurse or district security officials that a metallic item is on the student's person. 2. Handheld wand alert. A handheld wand alerts the superintendent of school or their designee, buildings principal or their designee, assistant principal, the school nurse or district security officials to the presence of a metallic item on the student's person. Reliable informant. Reliable information. Reliable information is provided to the superintendent of schools or their designee, building principal or their designee, assistant principal, the school nurse or district security officials from a reliable informant indicating that students have prohibited items such as weapons or drugs, possessing, consuming, selling, distributing, or exchanging alcoholic beverages or illegal substances, or being under the influence of either illegal substances included but not limited to inhalants, edibles, cocaine, LSD, PCP, amphetamines, synthetic cannabinoids, heroin, steroids, vaping, look-alike drugs, and any substance commonly referred to as designer drugs, including narcotics, unprescribed medication, marijuana, vape devices, or alcohol. This list is not exhaustive of illicit drugs. Personal observation. The superintendent of school or their designee, building principal or their designee, assistant principal, the school nurse, district security officials personally observe the student concealing a metallic or non-metallic or drugs on their person, regardless of whether a metal detector, x-ray machine, or handheld wand alerts occurs. Reliable informants may include students, volunteers, bystanders, individuals with a verified track record of providing accurate information. Information from an informant may also be deemed reliable if corroborated by another source or if a student provides a statement against their own interests. Verified track record is not mandatory to be considered a reliable informant. Generally, individuals who have previously provided inaccurate information will not be deemed reliable. Physical search / pat-down protocol. All searches must be conducted to respect the student's dignity and privacy while ensuring the safety of the school community. Volunteer disclosure. The student can voluntarily retrieve or reveal the item in question before conducting a physical search. The metal detection scan. After retrieval or voluntary disclosure, the student must pass through a metal detector and/or undergo a scan with a handheld wand, pat-down search. If the metal detector or wand signals the presence of an item, an authorized school official may conduct a pat-down search. Guiding principles. Searches should only be conducted when necessary and sensitive to the student's dignity. All searches should be conducted in a manner that respects the dignity and privacy of the students while ensuring the safety and well-being of all individuals within the school environment. Authorized personnel must adhere to the policy to ensure compliance with legal and ethical standards. Whenever practicable, searches will be conducted in the privacy of administrative offices and students will be present when their possessions are being searched. Searches will be limited to the extent necessary to locate the evidence sought. Protocol for school or events without metal detectors or handheld wands. In absence of a metal detector or handheld wands, the following protocol must be followed. Student self-search. The superintendent of schools or their designee, building principals or their designee, assistant principal, school nurse, or district security officials will instruct the student to perform a self-search. The student must remove all items from their person, including pockets, bags, or any concealed items. 2. Pat-down search. Once the self-search is completed, the superintendent of schools or their designee, building principals or their designee, assistant principal, school nurse, or district security officials will perform a pat-down search of the student. However, notwithstanding the above, each school may implement random pat-down searches. This procedure applies specifically when metal detectors or handheld wands are unavailable. This policy underscores the district's commitment to creating a safe environment while safeguarding the rights and well-being of the students. That is the second reading of 7300.6 Amendment to the Code of Conduct.
So I have a comment.
Question.
Trustee Mitchell, go ahead. I'll wait for you to make your comment or question.
My question is, all right, so I'm pretty certain that the whole reason behind this revising this policy was because of the outcry from the public, because one of our school buildings, the same school building, the principal implemented a pat-down policy on every single student that walked in the door. And when he sent that communication out, it wasn't, we had a conversation with the public and as some parents and principals. The real issue was the fact that that mandate was sent out and it was not run up the flagpole to acting superintendent or legal. And what this policy revision seems to do is basically circumvent so that the principal can do that anyhow, any kind of way, and not have to worry about going to higher ups to get that approval. So, but I do appreciate the breakout of when a pat down will be initiated and all the different steps. But from a standpoint of a public person, and a parent, a student in that building, and others, it really feels like it's a circumventing so that the principal can just do whatever and not have to go through proper channels to make sure it's green lit. That's really not a question. I'm sorry. That is a comment.
Okay, all right. So, comment to the comment that there are policies in place so the building principal, assistant principal, and security do not have to go through certain channels. That's why we have policies, so they can refer to the policy to implement what they need to do. In the case of STEAM, which you have accurately denoted, is that even though it was custom and the searches were happening in other schools, it did not happen in STEAM. And so therefore that principal, it's my understanding, looked at what was going on around him in other schools and then implemented it in his school. So policies are created so we don't have to go back to the chain of command and go through certain things. And the catalyst for looking at this policy, as you correctly stated, was because of that. And so this sets out the protocol that if it doesn't meet the matrix that is written down, then you need to go through the protocol to have something different happen. If it meets the matrix, then you have it. You have the answer. Then there's no need to make the call.
I have a statement.
That makes sense. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That speaks to what I was talking about the different factors that
I have a
to be
question and a statement. I'm
sorry?
concerned about the abuses that can happen with a pat down for searches on minors. I don't know why there is no parental, even union members have a Weingarten rule where they can have representation with them. I'm very concerned that this is just something that's arbitrary. I feel like we criminalize our whole student population for a few. I think we need to go back to the table and revise this policy because this was put in after the horse left the barn. There was a policy in the district that was not followed. And now we are basically substantiating what was done with no board approval. And I have a problem with that. We found out after the fact about this. This policy goes to a certain point to correct it, but I'm very concerned about the abuses that can happen when we're talking about minors. And I know parental and local, but this to me is concerning.
Understood your statement. It is up to the board to make a decision that weighs the students' moral rights, the district financial liability, and everything that's in the middle. How we got to this was that we had the search, as Trustee Mitchell brought up. It did not go through the certain channels. We looked at our code of conduct. Our policy committee met, which is made up of board members. We came up with a rendition that we thought was good and workable. We had that discussion in executive session. It was deemed workable. It did not have this amendment that was in it, because this is a second reading of the policy that had this amendment. Then, without going into what occurred, we had a situation for which we went back to executive session. We evaluated the situation, and then the board decided, let's make this amendment. Hence, we're now having the third reading of a policy. If the board says you'll take a vote or not, and I'll stretch to see if there's in between, because what we're really talking about, either do something or not. And whether we're doing it on a regular basis or whether we're doing it on a random basis, we're really talking about do something or not. And if we don't, what does that matrix look like? And if we do, what does that matrix look like? And I'm not expounding on certain things that may be expounded in executive session.
I'm going to make a comment that I think that it's a little more cut and dry than this, are we going to do something or not? It's more about are we going to do something and do it right? I agree with Trustee Kelly that this is definitely a horse in front of the carriage thing. We're doing this in retrospect, when the truth is we should have just followed our bylaws and procedures from the beginning. What we did was we revised the bylaws and procedures to align so that what we did now will be okay for going forward. That's what we did.
Madam Chair, I move that we table this amendment to a later date.
I second that.
I agree.
I just asked for, I'm not a board member, so I don't even weigh in on the motion. I just would like edification if we have a time certain, because there's a motion to postpone indefinitely, a motion to get more information, a motion, because for every day that we don't do something, we are doing something.
We're following the
I like
policy
to-
as written. That's
I
what we're
like,
doing.
right, we have a
Right.
policy.
And as policy is written, as we all discuss, leads us to a and a B.
So-
And so if the board can, it's totally up
So
to the
can
board.
can I clarify my
Yes.
motion? Okay, I would like to table the discussion to the next, to be sent back to the policy committee so that they can come back with another recommendation.
I second that.
Okay, so a motion to come back to table the,
A motion to table so they can go back to the policy committee so they can come back with a reasonable recommendation.
So what happens in the reading? How many readings do we have before we have to accept it? And how many amendments can we do?
The board can amend into 2000 and forever. Just for edification for the committee, I just ask a time frame so I can work on it with the committee and then decide to put that down to work on something else. So we'll come back within the time frame that's
Well,
established.
that's up to the committee. I
Right.
mean, I motion that we move it, that we table it to the committee, then the committee would make a determination as to when they come back. I can only
Correct.
table it to the committee.
Correct.
I would request also maybe the committee can come in before they finalize anything. That would be a presentation I would welcome before the board. Tell us about
that's-
some of the research. I'd like
Left
to know
part.
some of the data behind the decisions that you're making. There's no shortage
Yeah.
of research out regarding the impact of pat downs on students, how effective they are at preventing school violence. So maybe bring some of that and use that to inform your policy. Don't just make it a reaction to what's gone on recently. If we're going to do it comprehensively, let's do it comprehensively.
Well, let's just understand when you say let's don't make it a reaction, what you're speaking to is other board members saying let's don't make it a reaction, because the board decides whether or not they want to revisit a policy, and then we go and revisit it, or at least I go and revisit it.
No, that's not what I'm
And then-
responding. What
and
I'm
then-
responding to
I'm not
is.
finished, sir. I'm not finished.
I thought you were finished.
No.
Okay, go ahead, finish.
So, based upon your directive, which is get more data, the committee will follow that. And what we do, the reason why we have the first reading and the second reading is before we have the first reading, we present to the board. So that is not skipped, and that is not anything added, and it's not anything new. Then the board makes whatever suggestions they want, and then the board is informed that the first reading is going to happen. And then the board said, go ahead and have the first reading, for which the first reading was done. So nothing is done without the board saying, go ahead and go do that. And so that's how we got to here. Now, the language within it, or wanting to come back for more information, proper protocol, like Trustee Maribel said, to table it, to do things of that nature, that's always open. But procedurally, the procedure was followed.
Correct. And my comment was that this change was not triggered by anything other than deviation from the original policy. That's my point, right? So we're at the table revising this because there were changes made, right, outside of what was written. The code of conduct was not followed. And so then there was a decision that we're going to match the new code of conduct to see to do what we're doing now. I'm not looking for a response from you, Mr. Russell. I'd like us to move on. The motion has been on the floor. I'm not interested in
Yeah, the
entertaining
motion
more
is not
conversations.
debatable.
Well,
Yeah, let's go.
The motion was on the floor for the second reading, so we're completed with the second reading. Okay.
Thank you.
Do we want to?
But I made a okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do
Just
that.
a moment. Thank you. Thank you. We're good. Rita's gonna.
My motion supersedes the main motion.
So can.
My
Yes, I'm going to do a
point of order. My
We're gonna
to
do-
table precedes. Okay, supersedes the main motion which was on the floor.
So can I have a motion to table 9.2?
You have a motion. We're ready. I mean,
All
guess
in
we're looking for a
favor?
vote. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries to table. Trustee Mitchell?
I said, I said aye, real strong.
Right, yeah.
Trustee White.
Trustee White?
Excuse me?
Trustee White, we have a motion on the floor to table policy
To
73.
table that resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here I
Yes.
go.
That's for the policy for the search, the code of conduct,
Right.
student searches and interrogation.
Aye.
You,
Oh, okay, here I go again.
To table it, Trustee White, are you in agreement, or you're abstaining, or you're against tabling it? Which one is it?
Who, me?
yes. There's a motion on the floor to table the policy 7300 amendment to the code of conduct, student searches and interrogation.
And to send it
And
back to the committee.
To send it back to the policy committee. Are you in agreement? Are you in favor of tabling that? Or oppose or abstain?
Who, me?
Yes.
I can't,
Elizabeth, that's funny, right?
you're not
I
clear
can't-
to me.
Elizabeth is dying.
I said I will vote aye to table it.
Okay, all right, thank you. Motion carries.
Can I just say something in defense of our lawyer? We did go through this, and the board knew to go ahead and look at what we had, see what we can do, and then the readings. We did. We sure did. And so let me just say, and everybody was there because we did an exec session. So either we're going to go back to what we had, as some were saying tonight, or we are going to try to revise a little bit. So what y'all want to do?
It
That's
was
the
a
question.
revision. It was a concern about
Yeah,
abuse.
but I'm just saying, we did
Well,
talk
we-
about it.
And I raised it before. I don't know if anybody paid attention to it, but that was my concern.
Yeah, no, it is a big
Okay.
concern, but we
And
just need to come
would
to
ag-
grips.
Yeah,
That's
so the language, I would hope, would be included in this policy, because we are not, all of them are, they're minors.
I get it, and I understand it. I ain't down for the bad downs, okay, but just for a few. But we just need to be on one accord because it has been, okay, yep, we know what it was. Let's try to make a revision to it. Let's read it. That's exactly what we did. So let's remember, how old we, oh no, excuse me. Yeah, okay, what, Wanda? It's time to go home. Okay.
Can I have a motion to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation, the financial history of a particular person or corporation, or matters leading to the appointment, employment, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person or corporation, and to receive legal advice on a pending matter? Have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye. And I want to make a public apology to our student trustee. In the disarray of the beginning of our meeting, we forgot to include you in the committee reports. I apologize.
It's okay.
Okay. All in
We would
favor?
have to come back out of executive, wouldn't we? Right now, we're in exec session. We
We're
just
going into
voted.
executive session.
Right, but she's gonna give her a committee report, right?
no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. I thought
That
she
was
was
for
gonna.
clarification to our trustee.
Oh, I
that
thought she was
made
gonna
a
give one.
mistake
I apologize.
and forgot to call on her. I wanted to recognize the fact that,
Thank
you know.
you.
Thank you.
All right, any opposed for executive session? Okay. Abstain? Okay, motion carries.
Well, we won't come back out. We will not be coming back out.
We will not be coming back out of executive session.